All right, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, we are back. I hope you can hear me. I hope it's not another scuffed cargo stream. Ladies and gentlemen, how hype are you right now at this very moment in space-time? I'm so excited. My damn milk expires after Classic WoW comes out. I can't even believe it, man. My damn milk expires after Classic WoW comes out. That's how you know it's getting real, when your damn milk expires after Classic WoW, dude. One's in the chat if you're hype for some Classic WoW gaming coming very soon. How many days? Just a couple days, right? Like, what is it, 2-3 days? No, it's like 10 days or something. But it's getting real, guys. It's getting real. Where's all my Herod boys, my Invictus boys? Let's show some love in the chat right now, everybody. Thank you for hanging out today. I'm joined today, GMA number 26, joined today by Dunedain, Defcamp, the original lads, plus a new guest, first time on the stream, longtime friend of the channel though. Really nice guy, all around nice guy, Paladin extraordinaire. IRL Paladin, by the way, Dunedain. He's an IRL Paladin. He just blesses you with wisdom periodically.
It's awesome.
Yeah, Codeblue. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
I am doing friggin' awesome.
You doing awesome?
Yeah, same.
This is the first time we've actually had more than just one Alliance person, I think, on stream.
Yes,
Oh, jeez.
that's true.
Yeah, dude. Right, dude.
I feel
Yeah,
good,
man.
man.
Getting better. This is GMA 26. We've done 26. That's half a year. I'm no mathematician. I'm no rocket scientist. But 52 divided by 2, 26. 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
Half a year's worth of GMAs. Hell yeah, dude. That is just love
dude.
to see that. You guys miss GMA? I miss doing GMA. Some people have been asking me all the time I was in London, dude, when's the GMA coming? When's the GMA coming? When's the GMA coming? GMA's here.
It's been a month, man.
We
It's
here.
been a month. I totally forgot about it today. Someone had to hit me up and say, "Dude, are you coming on this on the GMA?" I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Right?
I had no idea, but I got some power infusion ready for you guys if you're ready for it.
Some power.
Oh yeah,
that's
we missed
right.
that, man.
Okay, F's in the chat. Be ready, guys. This is buyer beware. This is our traditional. I don't know if it's been a minute. You guys haven't seen this, but all right, dude. Defcamp, we're gonna need that whenever you're ready. Prepare your
Good morning.
your
Rise
headphones.
up, frames. Rise up.
Headphone warning, everyone.
Headphone
If you're in the
warning.
car, you might want to lower your speakers.
Actually broke someone's speakers in his car one time.
I did.
All right, so
I
Defcamp,
did.
can you please
Your
bless the
boys
chat?
ready?
Bless the people
Here
with
we
the
go.
loud and thunderous
Here we go.
greetings.
Let's do
go.
it. Let's do it. Good morning, Azeroth. How the hell you doing, boys? We're less than 2 weeks away to Classic WoW. Let's get some. Yeah.
There we go. Nice, dude.
That was awesome, man.
And you know, this episode of Good Morning Azeroth, of course, as usual, proudly sponsored by Rocky Mountain Spring Water. You know, the America's premium lager, dude, premium choice beverage here. You know, fine micro brew, artisanal, you know, crafted, amazing Rocky Mountain Spring Water. if it's blue, it's as cold as the Rocky Mountains. And we have a donation in the chat as well. We have who done it? Thick Meta TV, new addition to Team Invictus. Welcome to the stream, my man. Thank you for the $2. Rise up, frames rise up. 30 FPS. Is it lagging the stream? Is it lag? Looks fine to me. I'm not getting any error messages. Gotta get that. Just American premium flagship lager. Where's like
Dude, since we did the last GMA, I actually met you in real life, Kargoz. How about that?
I know, man. It's been real, dude.
That was awesome.
We're IRL battle buddies now, dude. Edgenar, subscribe to
I
Twitch.
know.
Thank you so much. Got to hang out with Defcamp. What did we do, Defcamp? What did we do when we hung out for the first time?
So it was awesome because we got to meet down at one of our favorite cheesesteak shops and get to have we walk in there. I'm like, who's this guy? Well, first of all, I couldn't find Kargoz. I'm like, where the hell is he? Melderon's looking for him. He's parked around the block. I thought he was scared. We weren't in a good neighborhood. I was like, maybe Kargoz is a little scared. But, you know, Kargoz lived in Philly for a while.
I went to Temple U, man, North Philly. We were getting poked left
Yeah,
and right,
that's it.
gunshots, dude. We'd go out to house parties, and you would legitimately just be walking over bloody glass and shrapnel and needles and be like,
Yeah.
it's fine, bro. It's fine. Yeah, anyway.
And then all of a sudden, I see this guy, you know, in a nice all suit, all like decked out, you know, looking all proper and all. I'm like, holy shit, that's Kargoz. Gave him a big old hug.
Hell
And
yeah.
then we went down, sat down, had some cheesesteaks. Then we came back to our place. Melderon and Kargoz had a couple brewskis. We all had a cigar, sat down, chatted, man. It was awesome. It was awesome.
great.
Got
It
to
was
meet
great.
my bro in real life, yeah.
What is a cheesecake? Is it?
Oh, a
no,
cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak, yes.
I
Talking
see.
about a sandwich.
So
Yeah.
that's like steak with cheese on top of it.
Yeah, it's basically like cut up like cheese, cut up steak, in
Okay.
like, you know, like
I see.
fine pieces, and then they melt cheese on top.
I see.
You know, on this nice big long roll. It's delicious, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of cheesesteaks? I know it's kind of it's like a religious thing in Philly. You got to order the cheesesteak, get the proper cheesesteak, because you know you go to Pat's and Geno's. That's like disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? You go to
Oh
Pat's and
yeah, you know
Geno's.
you don't go to Pats and
No
Geno's.
Pat's
They're
and
not the
Geno's.
real deal.
Real quick though,
No,
Crixios with the
shows.
1K biddies. Thank you so much for the 1K biddies, man. I really appreciate that, man. Herod gamers, rise up. If you're on Herod, make some noise in the motherfucking chat. Let's go. Sorry. What kind of cheesesteak did we order though, Defcamp? Can you?
We ordered
specifically-
American Wit. So American Wit, it was American cheese with onions. Okay, so when you go to Philly and you want to order a steak, you either say American Wit or without. Okay, without is without onions, wit is with onions, or you can do a whiz without. You know, which is there's cheese whiz. And those are the main two usually, American with or without, or whiz with or without. Some people do provolone. You know, we'll let that slide, but you know you can get mushrooms, whatever on there. But don't do nothing crazy after that. You know, no Swiss, nothing like that. That's how we keep it here in Philly. So
Can you have one without cheese?
you say one without cheese?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you're
I'm
into that,
lactose
you know,
intolerant.
you're just gonna have to deal with it, bro. No.
You really should just invite him to a Eagles home game. So you can
Oh
get
my
some-
God, yeah. That's a very welcoming, friendly place, Dunedain.
I
You'll
have to
love
say
it there.
too, Philly's a great city. It's a great city. City of brotherly love. You know, it's a
Yeah.
good city when it's called that.
Hmm.
And Defcamp and Melderon guys, you don't see it because you see them on camera. Like you see them in person. These some big dudes, man. They will intimidate you, dude. I could see them outside the club, like ready to just saying like, nope, no entry.
Mhm.
Like they're big, dude. Defcamp's got like this ponytail, dude. He's big, like he's straight beefcake, man. Like I was looking so soy right when I was around them. Like we're eating
I gotta say,
cheesecakes.
Kargoz, you were a lot taller than I thought, though.
Oh, taller? Yeah, I'm 6'1". Yeah,
You're
maybe-
about 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm 6'2", and you were like you coming. I mean, I thought you were like 5'8", 5'9", around there. You were a lot taller. He's a tall guy, man.
Yeah, I'm a little tall. So can if
Beefcake.
is the frames bad? People keep saying something about the frames. I'm not seeing any error messages.
It's
to it.
okay, I think.
Is it okay? What
looks
does
alright.
that even mean? Does it mean it's lagging or something in the chat? Some people have been saying that. Is the frames? Help me out, chat. Help me out a little bit. Help me out. Is this
Maybe it's just our cameras or what, but the stream looks okay to me.
yeah, same with me.
Yeah,
man. I'm not
that's
getting
true.
anything.
I've seen the frame rate drop a couple of times, but not
Okay.
everyone.
Oh, frames on the webcam's going bad. That might be a webcam issue then. I don't know. Freaks me out, man, because I'm so bad at streaming that like every time there's an issue, I just start getting anxiety.
It could be Discord. Discord's been kind of shit in the bed the last couple of days, honestly.
Okay,
Yeah.
seems fine now.
Well, it's
Texan
busy
817.
ferrying around a bunch of memes.
Yeah, absolutely. Texan817, thank you so much for the 4 months on Twitch Prime. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. Codeblue. How are you, man?
Good. How you
Can you
doing?
introduce yourself to the people?
Well, I am an Alliance Paladin. Started playing back in 2004, and ran a vanilla raiding guild for all of vanilla.
Hmm.
It wasn't, I guess you would call us kind of semi-hardcore. We were very interested in progression, but we also wanted to allow what people call, I guess, meme specs in the raid a lot. So we had Shadow Priests and Balanced Druids and Ferals all over the place, and at a time when that was considered very
Taboo.
unproductive, I guess.
Yeah,
very
right, yeah.
taboo. Hmm.
Sounds nice.
Especially even before all the class update patches. So we didn't exactly make it to Kel'Thuzad, but it was still fun. And the thing that I would always tell him was, you can get all the purple pixels you want, but those don't leave the game. The friendships do. And I'm still good friends with several of them even now.
Wise words from an IRL paladin. That is the aim of the game. People ask, what is the end goal? Classic WoW will come and go. Only two things are certain in life: death and taxes. Right? Classic WoW will come and go, but the goal is if we create some friendships that transcend the game, mission accomplished, dude. Mission accomplished.
I gotta say, man, I'm so psyched this time around for that reason alone. We've built some amazing communities, guys. I mean, Kargoz, your community. I mean, our community here, Dunedain, like all of us. I feel like we've kind of have the same community a little bit here and there. It's a little bit different, but we've really built some amazing communities. And to play with you guys, to play with the CWL team, play with all these people that we've met, to play with the community, it's going to be freaking awesome. I gotta say, I was watching that video last night that Melderon made. I don't know if you saw it yet, Kargoz.
Oh, yeah.
Melderon put
I
up
did.
last night. Yeah,
The one
it
with
got
the music
honestly,
and all the
we were
screens?
watching it live on stream. I teared up at the end, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, the thought of how many memories we're gonna create and how much fun we're gonna have. I'm just, I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky and grateful that we actually get to do this. Like, it's coming close, guys. We're literally 10 days away. It's right around the corner. I still can't believe it.
I know, dude. It feels kind of like yesterday when we were all just thinking it'll never happen. We're still just playing on private servers because the game is so good. But like, it was very real. Like, it felt like there was a 0% chance that Blizzard was ever going to do Real Classic. And then this whole journey up until this point, it's so crazy, man, when I think back on it the last couple years. And I've gotten to know you guys so well, and we haven't even been able to play the game. We're actually going to be able to play on the same server, and dude, it's going to be so real. And so when I linked up with Defcamp Melder when we were in Philly, we had this awesome cheesesteak. We got some Rocky Mountain spring water next door. We got some stogies, and we were just chilling outside the new apartment. They have a great new bachelor pad right there, killing it right now. They're doing really good, you know. And we're just smoking some stogies, talking about life. BlizzCon's coming, Classic WoW's coming. It was surreal, dude. Like, this, we'll never get this chapter back. This pre-Classic WoW chapter. It's gonna be a big blur. No one's gonna, I don't know. I mean, are we gonna look back on it for sure? It's gonna feel, we're never gonna get this back. You know, that hype and anticipation is only gonna be there for that phase. So, you know,
talking about communities, well, I've made my guild a few months ago, you know, and right now we are with like 100 people, and we only played together for the stress test, latest stress test. The amount of chat that is going on the Discord the last few weeks, it's unreal. And we didn't even play with each other we played like 2 days with each other, that's all. It's amazing to see how communities are building up right now.
It really is, and your community is going strong, Dunedain. One thing is, I was flying back from London, and then I watched it again, actually, because it made a big impact to me. Macadeth, real quick, thank you so much for the Twitch Prime sub, man, really appreciate it. I watched the trilogy of Lord of the Rings again on the flight back from London.
Ooh.
And I didn't know what Dunedain's name meant. Anybody know what Dunedain means? Anybody knows what?
It's
anybody
men. Oh, in the chat. Okay, yeah.
Oh no, you know, I was gonna ask you guys know too. So I didn't know, but you know, Aragorn is a member of the Dunedain, right? Correct me if I'm wrong here. I could be butchering it.
Yeah, that's true.
Watching the original Fellowship of the Ring, first of all, one of the best movies ever made, probably top 5 of all time.
Oh my god, absolutely.
Unbelievable movie. It just hits the nail on the head on so many points when it comes to high fantasy. Tolkien high fantasy is probably my favorite version of just like nerdy high fantasy. You can take it seriously. The orcs are savage and brutal. The elves, even though they kind of are soy boys, they're like they're cool though. Like the way they fight is awesome. They have nice architecture, beautiful architecture, shooting bows and using little daggers and stuff. They look really cool. And the human, like all the races, they're not overly sexualized. They're not overly sexualized. I can't stress that enough. But they still have that element of romance with Aragorn and the elf lady, and just watch them fight all the orcs. And it's not overly sexualized. The dialogue is good. You know, you got these hobbits. They got like hairy feet and stuff. No one is really overly sexualized. And you just take it seriously, man. I don't know.
Many people.
Lady Arwen, the elf lady.
The elf lady, yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah,
many people like the Return of the King the most, right?
I actually like
all the big battles.
What's
your favorite?
Fellowship.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
same.
Fellowship.
Yeah.
Fellowship is by far my favorite.
Yeah.
It reminded me why I love Warcraft, why I love all this nerdy shit when I watched the Fellowship. And then that one scene where Frodo, he gets fucked up by the blade, and then he wakes up in the elf city, and then they're all coming together and making the circle, and they're like, they're all putting their sword in, like, you have my arrows, and Grimly's like, you have my axe.
And my axe.
I'm kind of feeling like this is what it's like going into this server, like we're all.
You have my wand, guys. You guys have my wand.
It's cool.
I want to do a little shout out to Giacomo. He's in the chat on YouTube. He's one of my guildies from the Fellowship. So the movie we're talking about.
Oh, awesome, dude.
Hell yeah. $5 from Trevor Last. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, dude. If you guys are in EU looking for a home, Dunedain, you're recruiting, right? You're trying to build an awesome community on EU.
Right now we already have 100 people almost. So we're still looking for a few more because we think there might be some drop off when the game actually releases. So basically everyone is still welcome, but certain classes will be kind of full, so don't expect a raiding spot if you join like as warrior or a mage, but we still need a few druids, maybe a few paladins, and also warlock or two, maybe a rogue,
warlock
something like that.
If I was playing EU, I'd be joining Dunedain's guild, and his guild's called the Fellowship, kind of based on Lord of the Rings.
Fellowship,
Lord of the Rings too.
It's we will roll on the EU server, Golmac right now.
Nice.
We will most likely stay on Golmac, except if something really with the queues goes really wrong. We don't know that yet.
Yeah, it's kind of like where we're at with Herod, if the queues are like ridiculous or not. But I gotta say, man, going back to the Lord of the Rings stuff, like I think that for me, I mean, I've always been a really big, fantasy fan and sci-fi and all this, but for me, Lord of the Rings and classic WoW, like together, those two things are probably some of the things I'm most passionate about. But when you were talking about the Fellowship and just the kind of emotion that I get when watching that is very much the same way I feel about classic WoW. And I feel like retail is a lot like the Hobbit movies, like where they tried to like get as much money out of it, where they with whatever, and the Hobbit movies just ended up like sucking.
Yeah.
And like classic WoW is like the original like Lord of the Rings movies.
The vanilla.
But yeah, exactly, and it's just amazing. Like when again back to that video with Melron made, like looking at the whole world that's been created here, all these different places that we get to go to, have those different memories that. And Kargoz, you said this before, and I always remember this, but like literally any screenshot you take in the world of Azeroth, you take it and it's like an oil painting. This game is, people always talk about some people talk about the graphics. I think the graphics are timeless. I think they're amazing. I think these graphics hold up to even today. Absolutely. I gotta say, man, the people who created this game, they captured magic in a bottle, dude. They really did.
They really did. They really did. It's a beautiful game. We'll get to ride it out again. Never had an experience like this in my life. Going for a week 1 rag, rolling on a server with people, like have a whole guild set up with people I actually care about and want to do great things with. Man, it's gonna be so epic, dude. This journey.
I wonder if you just watched the Fellowship. Did you watch all 3? Yeah, you did.
I did watch all 3. I got the Twin Towers. Because I didn't have that much time on the flight. I discovered, like, I thought they only had meme movies on there for a little while, and then I realized you could click all library, and then I saw all the other ones, so I only had like 5 hours or something on the flight left. So I watched the full Fellowship, and then I started skipping through to the battle scenes on Two Towers and Return of the, and the battle scenes are crazy, man. Like,
yeah, they are.
Especially if you watch the Fellowship, do you feel like you are tempted to play Alliance?
A little bit. But I have to say that the orcs do look so cool though. At the same time, the Black Riders.
Oh, dude,
they're so.
They're Forsaken, bro. They're like Forsaken, man. Yeah.
The Dark Riders. Pharaoh, the Big Cheese MC, joined. Thank you so much for joining the channel. So Fellowship, I really encourage everyone out there. We have some time before Classic. Watch the Fellowship. Even just watch the first. No, just watch the whole Fellowship. Don't watch a portion of it. Watch the entire thing. Like,
Extended edition.
100%.
And join the Fellowship on EU, Dunedain's Guild. I'm gonna have my alt there, baby. That's for damn sure.
Some people are asking how to join the Discord because we are streaming on different platforms. The link to the Discord is simply thefellowship.eu. So.
That's pretty easy. Yeah.
Indeed. So I don't have to type it in all.
There you go.
So the name of the stream today, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about news too, but just to tease at it right now, people are still trying to figure out what class they're going to play. Even like, big content creators, people like, you wouldn't expect, like people have it all figured out. People are still at this point wondering what class they're going to play. It's a massive time investment, and you get so attached to your character a lot of time, and it's important, man. Like it does change a lot about your quality of life and your experience and your adventure. So we're going to keep it class specific today. But the thing is, this is a mistake I made a lot looking back on my past guides. I made the foolish mistake of trying to rank classes in a very black and white sense against each other. It's not appropriate to do so. It's kind of misguided. It's kind of just impractical to do so. The best thing we can do to help you guys try and pick a class that's right for you is just to share what we like and don't like about the classes, and the rest is kind of up to you. What kind of player you're going to be, how successful you're going to be. That's kind of in your court, because every class is good in vanilla, TLDR. Every class in a 112 environment, every class that you can play has many strengths. So that's what we're going to talk about. We can start the stream though off by talking about news. Anybody want to start with news? I know Codeblue had some stuff with news. Defcamp had some stuff with news. Go
ahead, Codeblue. I know you got something you want to talk about. Yeah.
Okay. Well, on the last stream, I was watching Kargoz' stream. He was discussing debuff slots for raids. And I, in the chat, said, what about Scorpion Sting? Have you thought about Scorpion Sting? And Scarm said, oh no, that's a waste of time. I was
saying
curious
that mobs
about
don't have strength and agility, right? Yeah.
Right. Mobs don't have strength and agility. Well, it turns out, according to Classic, they do. Because I did this, and Navik also independently verified that if you Scorpion Sting a mob, its DPS white damage decreases.
I wonder by what margin? Substantially, you said? Wow.
Yeah, well, it may vary based on what, actual attack power versus strength versus agility the mob has or whatever, but the point is they clearly do have base stats.
Okay.
Right.
So, I don't think Skarm was, air quotes wrong. I think what was happening was maybe private servers implement things differently,
Yeah.
and base stats aren't present on mobs, all they have is attack power or whatever. But just the very notion that there's something going on with stats in Classic that we don't quite understand the same way as private servers. There may be more of that, and it concerns me a little bit.
Okay.
Like, for example, does Rag have spell penetration? I don't know. So, because there was a whole talk during Vanilla about how very important fire resistance gear is, and it seems like on private servers that's become less important. Is it because we're in for a rude shock when we get to Rag in Classic? I don't know.
We'll see, man. We'll soon find out. We're going for it, dude. We're setting the bar high, going for that week 1 Rag. Very good to know, though, because we were talking about the 16 debuff slots real quick. New member, Max Gran Torino, and Maki Tambo. Thank you so much for joining, guys. We're kind of struggling to find good things to put in those debuff slots with 16 going into Molten Core, right? And we were trying to think outside the box to find them. But Scorpion's thing would make Navik feel a lot better, and try and mitigate a little bit of that damage coming out of Ragnaros if it wasn't.
And it may be that raid bosses, it has no visible effect, because this was outdoor mobs, so we can't be sure.
Okay.
But the way that Skarm said it, sounded like no mobs have any base stats.
I got that same impression as well. It could be different on private servers for sure. So we were talking to Ale, another big brain guy, cleared Vanilla back in the day, full clear, big Nax back in the day. He was saying that in Nax, they use Scorpion's thing as one of their authorized debuffs. Cool to know, right? So.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there that I think still a lot of people are not sure about especially when it comes to endgame, right? Because private servers, a lot of us have played it for so long and we're used to that. A lot of things that recently come out. Melderon's done a lot of testing. Him and a lot of the guys from the Fight Club Discord had done some amazing testing. Melderon put out that video recently about the melee. Basically everything you need to know for a melee DPS about crit, and it's crazy to know just how important things like weapon. What's the word? The word I'm looking for.
Weapon skill?
Skill. Yeah, thank you. Just how important weapon skill is, compared to other stuff. I mean, weapon skill is going to be primarily the difference between having 300 and 305 weapon skill when you look at in terms of hit and crit and things like that. Fighting against a level 63 mob or raid boss is pretty damn substantial. And all the numbers and everything like that are there on Melderon's newer video all about the melee. But there were some other things we found out too, which isn't. This isn't anything that's going to basically change anything for anyone. But anytime a caster, we tested this on priests in particular. But if a priest tries to melee a mob that's 3 levels higher, so if you're level 60, raid bosses are technically level 63. Every single one of your melee attacks is counted as a glancing blow. Which I just thought that was interesting. But
every single one.
Every single one.
Very weird.
Every single one.
Because we know that the knowledge that we have accepted, at least I have, and a lot of other people have accepted, that no matter what, you have a 40% chance, static chance.
That's what we thought. That's what we thought. That's exactly what we thought.
And that the weapon skill helps mitigate how much damage is mitigated, pretty much, and we'll shave off how much of a damage reduction it is when you get that glancing blow.
No, this is for casters only, though. This is for priests. We're assuming we didn't get to test mages and warlocks yet, but we're assuming that it does. I'm going to do the testing today. But yeah, as a priest, I went to a level 43 mob, and I did about 140 attacks just to have it up there, and out of 143 of them, all of them were glancing blows.
Interesting. I don't know how the game does that, but that is it's very interesting to note. Yeah.
So I think honestly, we're going to see some differences, when it comes to the armor penetration, when it comes to getting armor reduction down with Annihilator, with Fairy Fire, with Curse, with what's the with all the armor reduced, and I don't know, my brain is like out of it today, but with Sunder armor and everything like that, you can get basically all raid bosses down to 0 armor, and that's going to have a huge effect when it comes to damage through melee.
Yeah, Skarma's making that seem like a very big deal for sure. Beer Boy is asking real quick thoughts on Paladin leveling now that you can't stack Reckoning. Just a quick little point about that. Because Spell Cleave is looking so promising and the Cleave dungeon groups are looking so promising, I think Paladins are really well positioned. Paladins would just be like the best thing for that. For a Spell Cleave, I think you just have very consistent pulls. You can heal yourself with no pushback. I think Paladins are looking good. I would go for a melee or a Spell Cleave dungeon grinding group if I was a Paladin. That's my little thought on that. Okay, so news. Blizzard reopened the beta. Kind of a bizarre move. Blizzard rolled out with 11 servers NA. Kind of a bizarre move, but I'm not going to lie. The fact that there's low pop realms and they rolled out with 11, I'm scratching my head a little bit. What does that mean? Are they really low pop, or is it comparatively to Herod? Does Herod have 200k people, and then Fairbanks and those have 50k, so it's low pop comparatively? I'm scratching my head trying to figure out this stuff. I initially went into this thinking 11 servers, way too low. We're going to have way too many layers, just thick layers. Get some thicks in the chat. Thick layers, plethora of layers. It was really concerning me, and now we see some servers with, low pop. What are you guys thinking about the server thing?
Well, see, I gotta say, because we're still this was only name reservation. I really think we're gonna see way more people on day one. I'm thinking, maybe only 1/3 of people did the name reservation, just from the 1/3, if that, right? But just from the Reddit statistics, I think last it was over 40,000 people took the surveys on Reddit where people did their numbers onto which servers they're going to. Herod had over 5,000. The numbers were like 58% Horde, 42% Alliance so far in a lot of these servers and things like that. And that's only a good amount of people, don't use Reddit, right? So you're looking at like maybe 10% of people who use this Reddit thing. You already have servers at 5,000, 6,000, put another 90% of those people that are missing, we're going to have some really big servers. So I'm really intending to see a lot more people at launch. What do you guys think?
I think so too, but you said 1/3. I think it's probably only like 1/10 right now.
You think? Wow.
If you think about it. Yeah, I mean, I know a few people in real who want to play Classic WoW, but they didn't sub yet. They just want to play it when it comes out, and probably not even on launch day. And many of my guild members say the same thing. They know many people who didn't join a guild yet, who didn't sub yet, and who are all going to play. But for EU specifically, I think we had way too few PvP servers. You're right that some of the servers, actually in EU, there's no single server low population right now. So at least the English ones. I don't know about the other languages, but I feel like the 2 PvP servers was a huge mistake, and we have 3 now, which still feels on the low side. But I ask myself the same question as Kargoz did. Are those servers like full? I mean, does it mean the same as I think in vanilla WoW if a server is full, or is it a different number?
It's a different.
How many layers do we have?
Like, how many layers are we gonna have on Herod? Herod is likely gonna be the most popular server. Codeblue's rolling there. We're rolling there. Dude, I don't know. Like, I was talking with Alex the other day. Shout out to Alex, and he was saying maybe like 100 layers. Some people were saying 45k layers. I don't know. Wait,
I'm pretty sure there's a cap on layers and how many layers.
There is a cap on layers.
There's probably a cap, but I feel like it might be way too high. That's just a feeling. We don't know.
I hope not. Yeah, we don't know what the number is, but we know that there is a cap on layers.
I just counted the number of guilds on the Golmag Discord, and that are all the guilds who did sign up on the Golmag Discord and asked to make their guild as a separate group, and it's like 30 guilds right now.
Wow.
From both Alliance and Horde side, but Golmag is not the biggest out of the 2. It's full right now, but Chazra is way bigger as a server.
Right.
And then we have the new one, Gehenna.
Gehennis, yeah.
I mean, 30 guilds already signed up on a Discord. That's pretty huge.
And Kargoz, there actually are no servers at low pop. There actually are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are at medium for North America. 1, 2, 3, 4 that are at high, and 3 that are at full. So even Stalag, the one that came out last night, is already at medium pop. there are no low server pops. Everything's either medium, high, or full.
Okay, gotcha. So
Yeah.
that's good to know. I want to quickly poll the chat and you guys. Everybody, perk up for a second, splash some water in your face, grab a Rocky Mountain spring water, whatever you got to do. I need to know, how many people are we looking at for the first launch week, before all the tourists depart and go off to play Fortnite or go off to play whatever they're going to do? How many people are we looking at on launch week? I'm curious. We need to get some ballpark estimations. Blizzard's not giving us any answers. They're not telling us what their thoughts are on it.
I don't think they know,
So,
dude.
I mean, how many are we thinking? Are we thinking 500,000, a million, 2 million, 3 million?
I'm feeling something like 2 million.
Let's see.
On launch week, yeah, I think, you know, seeing that on the first day of the beta, right? People like Soda Pop and Asmongold had 100,000 people watching them. You know, just off like those numbers and what we're seeing, I would say you're safe to bet at least over 1 million on launch day, worldwide. You know what I'm saying? At least over 1 million.
I agree. And this is launch. I'm not even thinking about the future. I'm worried about getting off to a good start. 1 week rag, all this, right? This is the first week. So before all the tourists drop off and stuff, I think on the very, very conservative end, we'd be looking at 1 million. Let's say it's 1 million.
Yeah.
How do all these servers math out and support 1 million people? Tons of layers. I'm not a rocket scientist, but it's looking like we're gonna have hundreds of layers. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys?
I think
do
so
you think?
too. But Blizzard came out in a blue post and they said that for EU, the two first servers, so Shazra and Golmag, might have severe queues, and I think I've read the same thing for US servers.
Yep.
So that would be a disaster if that really happens. But we can talk about that in a little. So
Yeah.
what do you think
Well,
about? Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not 2006 anymore. And if Blizzard decides that they want to spin up more realms, it's literally pressing a button.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
they're
that's
all
a good
virtual
thing.
machines.
Right. And we do know that there is a cap on layers, so I'm hoping that we'll see something like, you know, what I'm hoping is you know, once new realms start to spin up, we will see, you know, people deciding to not roll on these huge servers, and those huge servers hopefully will over time start to balance out and not have large queue times. Because I can say honestly, for myself, I'm not going to want to play on a server if I have to wait an hour or two to get on there every day for the
Can
first
I
weeks.
hop in on this one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Real quick. I don't like playing on a server with a high queue, but you
Yeah.
cannot simply move a guild from a server to another one right now.
Yeah,
And if we have so many guilds on those servers already, I think it will
that's
be
the
chaos.
issue.
I would
That's the
personally wait
issue.
an hour if there's no layering. I'm not gonna lie. If there's no layering, I'd wait an hour to get in every time. But it's I know I'm like a crazy person. I guess I'm just insane.
No,
But
I
would
agree. I
just not want
totally
layering.
agree.
Yeah, I would wait an hour every time and just sit
Mhm.
there and just do something while I'm in the queue. But okay. So we talked a little bit about news. Any last things news? Okay, last thing I guess I want to talk about. I'll bring it up. Blizzard brought the beta back for 3 days. Why did they do that? They brought the level cap from 40 to 45. I wonder. I'm curious. I don't know. They were able to test the final talents across all the trees. Doesn't seem like it's opening up some massive, expansive new content. What do you guys think? Why do you think that they did that? And it's closing out in a day or so here. Is there any telling signs of why are they doing that? I have some thoughts, but I don't want to skew it.
I think it was all for bug testing, honestly. I think Blizzard wanted to. I mean, we're literally less than 2 weeks out from launch, and I think Blizzard wanted to see if there were any big bugs that had to be flushed out before launch. That's my opinion, because I don't think it's more. I really don't think it's a marketing push. Seeing that how many days are left, you can see that you know, it's really not that big right now. A lot of people are just ready for launch. I think it's more of Blizzard wanting to see if things are ready to go
Mhm.
for launch.
It
I
doesn't
wonder what
seem like
bugs
a
they could have
marketing
found,
push.
though. It doesn't seem like a marketing push. Okay, go on. Sorry.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I don't. It doesn't seem like it's not marketed at all, as was the previous beta. So, but I feel they might be a little bit short on time. They delayed the latest stress test, right? So
Yeah.
it seems like it's like the last bug fix thing, and see if everything works.
Yeah.
Okay. Any
Well-
thoughts, Codeblue? Sorry.
Kargoz and I discussed this earlier in the week, I think. And I told him at the time, on a software project, it looks bad. If you get QA reports, the first step in QA is to reproduce the bug yourself. Once you can do that, you know if you fixed it, right? So why would they put up the realms and say, just making sure we fixed everything? It kind of implies that maybe they didn't have enough time to verify that they did fix it.
Mm.
Mhm.
But I thought about it more, and based on how this community works, I actually spoke with some people at work about this. They said, but maybe what's really going on is that this community is notorious for trying to peel apart Blizzard's motives, and maybe this beta only went up for 3 days as an objective demonstration of the bug fixes.
Okay.
That's why it wasn't marketed, but it's still kind of indirect marketing in a sense. It's not,
Right.
Don't take our word
At
for it that we fixed all
Kargoz, from
these
a
things.
tech
Here's 3
standpoint,
days to
Blizz
prove
could
it.
convert a layer to an independent realm
Gotcha.
server.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on that too.
Once virtualized, thus isolating each layer server.
Thank you very much for the $5 THC, man. Good to see you in here. Okay. So there was some stuff that still needed to be tested. I'm thankful that they opened the beta back up again. We already were able to test Eye of Kilrog. Anyone wondering how Eye of Kilrog works? Because a lot of people doing spell cleave groups, stuff like that. You can't attack with it. You can't right click with it anymore. It doesn't transfer threat. It's undetectable as far as I can tell. You can put it right in front of elites and just like strafe back and forth in front of elites. Doesn't do anything. There's lots of stuff that we were able to test in the final 11th hour now. Improved Shadow Bolt debuff. That can be resisted, where the damage, you can crit, do the crit damage, but the improved Shadow Bolt effect can be resisted. So all types of good stuff was able to get done in this last beta push. But at the same time, kind of feels weird that they did it to me, because it seemed clean. They closed off the beta. They had this big, huge event. You know, they're spawning Thunder Furies into people's hands. They kind of went out with a bang. And then for them to just out of the blue to put it back on, it almost feels like it could be a marketing push, because they were maybe underwhelmed by the last stress test, or I'm not exactly sure, but
it's just so weird, right? Because like there would be so many better ways to market the game, in my opinion. Especially, I mean, like, you know, you did this once, right, with the beta for the marketing idea, right? You had the first day, which is a huge, honestly, their first beta, the first couple days of the beta when it first came out was a success for marketing. They had a ton of people playing the game. If I were Blizzard and I wanted to market the game now, I would release ads on YouTube. I would have, you know, the ads like they do for BFA, you know, join 8.2, whatever, here it is. Literally all I would do would just re-release the original Vanilla WoW cinematic trailer and just put that on YouTube right now. So it seems like to me there would be better ways to market it. So it just, I don't know. Like this is the last thing I was expecting.
A lot of people deleted their beta clients. A lot of people were like, all right, beta's not
yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
So,
like I had no idea.
There's no one playing.
I mean, no one did really.
They opened it back up again, and very few people were even playing it. So I'm just, it's just kind of bizarre to me. A lot of the decisions they make are kind of bizarre. But at the end of the day, I'm appreciative because I was able to learn some stuff from it, and now I feel a little bit better informed heading into Classic. But
It actually still has some bugs in it. For example, the Dunedain, you know, if you go into Retribution Aura, the beta... Oh, I'm sorry, you probably weren't in the beta.
Nope.
The Retribution Aura triggers the sound effect for Devotion Aura and Ret Aura at the same time. And I reported it during the beta, and it's still broken. So that's something weird. And but they have fixed other things, because remember, during the early part of Vanilla, if you tried to cast like a blessing on a target that was too low for that rank, it would be an error. And people used to have add-ons to deal with that. Later on, I believe during Vanilla, they just made it so that it would pick the highest rank it could. The beta was telling you that the target was too low, and now the beta that we've just been given for 3 days is choosing the max rank that the target can take. So there's definitely things that have been massaged out and fixed.
I felt like Wanding feels a little bit more responsive than it did. I don't know if they messed something up with Wanding, but it does feel more responsive than it used to. I can actually like click a spell, you know, click basically, you know, I would hit Mind Blast, Shadow Word Pain, Wand, and as soon as after I'm off that Shadow Word Pain, Kargoz, you know, we used to have to wait a second or whatever to get that in that little like point second where you can hit it right away now, and the wanding will queue right up. You don't have to worry about like hitting it twice or whatever.
About what? Sorry, did you have anything else to say? I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah.
About what Codeblue was saying, I'm trying to think of my memories. I didn't play a Paladin to 16 vanilla, but I do remember it didn't work with the highest rank, and I don't think they fixed that in vanilla. But I'm not entirely sure. But I think it was in the Burning Crusade. Because I played a Paladin in Burning Crusade, and I remember it clearly that it didn't work. So,
I think maybe this is one of those situations where they may have taken some license because the 8.0 engine will not allow an add-on to cast a spell while you're in combat.
Mhm.
And what they may have done is said, okay, well, every vanilla paladin at 60 would have been running this add-on, so let's just go ahead and implement that directly into the game
Mhm.
because we're not going to allow you to have an add-on that casts a spell, right?
Oh yeah.
So at that point, maybe that's just another case of one of those smoothed corners that happened there. But the reason that I bring it up is that there's still bugs, and they even came out and said that the keyring isn't in,
Yeah.
and they're going to add it later in another patch.
Another
So
bizarre thing,
0.2 or
dude.
something,
Just a
yeah.
bizarre
But
thing.
that's okay, right? The keyring
Yeah.
wasn't in vanilla
At
either.
launch, yeah.
true, but nobody said, okay, keyring is phase 2. I mean,
Yeah,
No,
they
yeah,
had,
no
like,
one said that.
right.
Yeah.
And actually, they said 1.12.
Change your plans, boys.
Yeah.
Change your plans. Keyring is phase 2, guys. Make all the adaptations you need to make.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked a little about news. We got to get into the classes, guys. We got to get into
Yeah,
the
let's get
juice.
into it,
The
baby. Let's
juice.
do
the
it.
Can I-
details.
I have
Yeah, sorry.
One little question, and it's kind of important. If a realm is attacked full, does it mean you cannot make a character on there if you don't have one?
no, that's when the realm is locked. You can't
Okay.
create new characters. On.
Okay, good, very good. I was worried for my guildies.
Okay.
Aw.
We got to get into the
That's
juice,
all.
dude. We got to get into
Full
the-
means you're gonna probably hit a Q. That's probably what it's gonna say.
Okay.
I mean, that's
Good.
my guy. Yeah.
All right, you guys ready for the juice, for the juiciness?
Yes.
I
chat
am, dude.
very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. So I got something I want to say too about the classes once we get going.
Okay,
before
okay.
we go into each class, but go ahead and start if you want. Yeah.
All right, guys, chat. You ready for this? For some juice? Can I get some juice in the chat, please? Can we get some juice? We're gonna talk about classes, guys. Like I said before, if there's a lot of churn in the chat, people moving in and out. I want to do a quick note about classes before we get into the juice.
Mhm.
This is the note about classes. It's really okay. I think I have it on the next slide. Actually, I wrote it out since I'm like a freaking goldfish. It is impractical and misleading potentially to attempt to rank classes comparatively from best to worst and to do it in that kind of linear, kind of dichotomous fashion. There's so much to factor in, from talents to playstyle, and what aspect of the game you're talking about, world PvP or dueling or what. It's just a nightmare trying to compare stuff like very specifically like that, and you can honestly do classes a disservice, and some people may not want to play a class because what they see on one of my dumbass guides from the past or something like that, you know, you see what I'm saying? That's the first thing I want to say. I don't know if you guys even agree with that. I didn't even talk to them about Defcamp and Dunedain about this. This is just my thoughts on this. And also the same thing when it comes to ranking classes from hardest to easiest. If you played any class in this game, you'll soon realize how many caveats and nuances there are to every class, whether it's positioning or different talent builds or little things you can do to min-max or improve your performance. That it's rough, even though people say they meme about Paladins being the easiest, and I kind of see what they're saying, but at the same time, to just straight up say Paladin is the easiest class to play, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right, man. And
Oh, it doesn't.
it doesn't feel right. And the other thing I'll say is that buffs, consumables, gadgets, offense, trinkies, all that stuff, there's so much of it in vanilla. It's all on the table. It's all usable and fair game. They allow you to perform beyond the limitations of your class. People who tell you vanilla is rock, paper, scissors, I'm sorry, they're just wrong, dude. Like, they're just wrong.
Mhm.
It's not rock, paper, scissors. It's not rock, paper, scissors. And I think that was one more thing I was going to say, but I forgot already. Sorry, go ahead.
I have another way to put this. Because of class homogenization in retail, it's become commonplace to just use numbers to compare them. Because they're all so similar to each other, they all have the same utilities, they can all accomplish the same goals. But in vanilla, the classes have flavor.
They do.
They
Oh,
do
lots
different
of flavor.
things.
Nice.
You need all the different classes, not just their roles. Like, for example, Instructor in Nax, right? Do that without mind control.
Yeah,
Just
right?
like-
Seriously. Yeah.
There's a ton of things all over the place in vanilla where this class just gets a license to a spot because you need that class.
I mean,
It's well
yeah,
put.
very well put. And you look at things like a mind soothe and, like you said, mind control. I mean, I'm a huge priest guy, right? So obviously, but what I wanted to say about this, like, what I think is very important for people to realize when picking a class, and people who really are not sure what class you want to play, don't okay, a class like shamans, right? Shamans, I feel like they are very interesting very early on. You get a lot of really cool stuff. You get a lot of their core abilities very early on. You get the shocks, you get purge, you get totems, all this. Yeah, priests, right? Like me and we were actually doing Countdown to Classic. Myself and a fellow by the name of FAHQ, FAHQ. So we're talking about priests, and I feel like priests really start shining around level 40. So someone who's out there and say, okay, I'm gonna play priest, guys. I was watching Defcamp, he was having all this fun, and then they get discouraged because they hit level 20 and they're like, what the hell, this class is boring. You really have to stick with it for a little bit. You know, some classes really start to shine later, whereas some classes like paladins and shamans really start to shine pretty early on. So what I would like to say to anyone out there who has a certain class that you're picked, don't be discouraged if you're at like level 20 something, level 30, and you feel like the class isn't providing you what you thought it was going to do. You really need to just kind of like, especially warriors, you need to just work through it a little bit. You'll be rewarded in the end. And I don't want to see people say like, oh man, you know, I was really excited about this class, and you know, I got to level 20 and I was like, screw it. I was like, well, dude, you know, at least get yourself to level 40, get the 31 point talent. Like, you know, classes like priests, they get shadow form like insane at level 40, whereas other classes, their 31 talent points are, you know, don't really mean squat. So that's what I would like to say about that, pretty much.
Very good point, man. A very good point. And another thing I will say, vanilla has a magical way of making you feel like your class is shitty when you're playing it, especially while you're leveling. You'll be watching other classes killing stuff off in the distance. You're gonna be like, man, that guy's living the good life. I should go play that class. What I will say to you, every class is strong in 112. Every class is strong, and like I said, there's so many axes you can compare them across. It's tough to even do so. And every class has passionate enthusiasts behind those classes that sim stuff out, that do math and make spreadsheets and do all this. Hop in your class Discord if you're feeling discouraged. Talk to some of the enthusiasts. Let them share some of their knowledge about how they handle PvP or PvE or whatever it might be, and get inspired again with it, because there's really no class. If you disagree, put it in the chat. Let's get some discourse going. But there's no class in my mind that is bad.
Nope.
There's no class that's bad.
None.
There's no class that's bad. No class that's
I have
bad.
another way to put that, if I may.
Yeah.
Vanilla has a way of making you feel like your class is shitty when you're playing alone.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, some classes really shine when you have someone with you, especially buffer, especially hybrid classes. You know, like being a shaman is amazing by yourself, but then when you have a warrior with you or a rogue and you drop down that Wind Fury totem and you're like, oh my god, my class is fucking awesome.
It's so
or a
true.
priest, you know what I mean?
This is another difference from retail, because retail was made so that you could just play by yourself and never interact with anyone, right?
Yep.
Classic rewards you. The more people you have, you have an exponential effectiveness curve, right? 2 players are better than the sum of their parts.
And spoken with wise words, because it's coming from a paladin as well, right? Here's a very extreme example for you guys, right? What do people say the slowest leveling class is in the game? Let's hear it in the chat. What do you guys think the slowest leveling class in the game is, chat?
Warrior.
Let's see what they have to say, man. And we'll see how much spam we get in the chat. We got to get some real hype in the chat, guys. Classic's like 10 days away, man. Get some more energy in the chat. What is the slowest class level in the game? Historically, they always said it. Let's see. I'm waiting for it. Warrior,
Here it comes. Here comes the wave.
Yeah. There we go. Look at all that awesome spam. I love it. Love to see that, guys. Love to see the energy and hype in the chat. We appreciate that. So, Hunter, get the hell out. I'm banning you, bro. No, I'm joking. But
What hunters?
yeah, but okay. Here's the thing, though.
Someone said Defcamp.
People say warrior paladin, right? People say warrior paladin. What did Navik do?
And rogue sometimes.
Yeah, that's usually what you're gonna see. Warrior paladin. I actually personally think if I had to choose a gun to my head, I've been saying that a lot recently. I don't know why. Probably pick rogue. But you know, you see Navik going into the world solo warrior on the beta, getting Horde first 30 as a solo warrior. That makes a powerful statement, right? It makes a powerful statement. And here's the other thing. What you just said, Codeblue, is so true. Because if you would even try to make the foolish attempt to compare classes in a very black and white, simple way, this class is better than this class, then the whole idea of being in a group just changes everything too, right? Like you'd have to compare them solo versus in a group, because you take a class like a warrior or a paladin, you put them with another person, and they get super accelerated. They either accelerate or they get super accelerated, right? Like solo warrior might be on the slower side of leveling, right? But as soon as you put them with the shaman or something, you're up there like god tier leveling speed. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as you add the group component to it, which is what vanilla is all about, It just makes it that much hard to try and compare classes. That's the ultimate point I'm trying to make here.
You got peanut butter in the left hand and jelly in the right hand,
There
and
we
you're trying
go.
to pick which is better? Put your hands together.
No, I love it, man. You just make that up? Nice. All right.
I think I was quoting Friends, actually.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, so the disclaimer is out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to go class by class and just share random nuggets. We're just going to be tossing tendies and nuggets out in the chat. You guys can just, digest them how you will, right? These are just
Spicy nuggets,
observations. Take the player over class. It is what it is, right? C'est la vie. All right, here we go. Number 1, the warrior, the ultimate Chad class. Nah, I'm joking, dude. That's for warlocks. Everybody has different band. Okay, so warrior. Let's start with warrior. Let's open it up to the floor. We have some different buckets here that we just listed out because it's tough to even find a way to do this. Solo leveling, group leveling, dungeons, raids, dueling, world PvP, battlegrounds. If you feel so inspired to talk on any one of these points, just jump in and share your own anecdotal, personal experience with this class with regard to one of these aspects. Go.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the solo leveling thing. Warrior is the first character I leveled to level 60, and thus I didn't know it was a hard one to level 60, right? So I thought every class leveled like a warrior did. So whenever I make something like a hunter right now, it feels really overpowered and doesn't feel as fun to me. So I really like the hard leveling style of the warrior, and to me it seems like it's how, well, I always thought it was like every class was like that, but it feels like it's the way the game is supposed to be played. So I kind of like those harder leveling classes like warrior, rogue, paladin, all those three. So that's all I want to say about the solo leveling.
Here's the thing too about solo leveling. I really feel like you can definitely feel the difference between a geared warrior and a non-geared warrior.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you have good gear at like level 40, you're gonna destroy, right? Especially at and warriors get really good around level 40. They get a lot of, whether it's PvP, whether it's PvE. I time and time again have been surprised by warriors. There's times where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get in this duel with a warrior, I'll destroy him, and then you get like 2 hit. And warriors are probably the best example of scaling with gear. They just scale so well with gear, even in the lower levels. And I gotta say this: a lot of people don't realize just how beneficial having spirit while solo leveling is for warriors. Warriors actually benefit the most from spirit than any other class for health regen. So getting yourself a spirit set, having some spirit on your gear, whatever, it is absolutely essential. Not essential, but it's pretty essential if you want to level fast. So I would definitely say go ahead. You might not think of spirit as a good stat for warriors. It is actually one of the best stats when it comes to level.
I want to jump in on the gearing thing. Warrior, if you like to play MMOs because MMOs feel like you're always getting stronger, warrior is probably the best class to have that feeling all the way from level 1 to 60, and then from 60 when you get geared to every piece of gear makes you so much stronger, and you really feel like you started like the very weak little guy, and the more you play, the more you grow, the more badass you get, and that's I feel like warrior is like the very best class to do that.
Mm-hmm. You guys are dropping knowledge bombs. I agree with everything you said. Yeah, spirit, they benefit the most from spirit. Classes benefit from both spirit-based mana regeneration and spirit-based health regeneration differently. There's 2 different formulas for both, and it's kind of compartmentalized by sort of what armor class you are. That's kind of how they break it down. But TLDR, warriors benefit a lot from spirit. A penny saved is a penny earned. You may shave a little bit off your kill time, but if you have stacking a bunch of spirit and you're able to recuperate, get back in a combat-ready state faster, ends up being really good. I will say, to piggyback off what you said, Defcamp, a warrior, an experienced warrior with a lot of knowledge of the class and weapon progression and knowing how to, mitigate damage through Thunderclap, Demoralizing Shout, things like this, man, it's a world of difference, man. It's such a big difference. It's one of just the biggest spreads of difference. Like, if you're new to the warrior class, good luck, dude. You're going to be dying better get used to dying, man. Roll Night Elf, get that Wisp form. But if you are an experienced warrior, man, and you know the value of sweeping strikes, you know how to keep your weapon up to date, you know how to pull stuff, you know how to train ranged weapons early and make use of that range throw and pull safely and to deal with humanoid mobs as they run away, and you're just a big brain, goddamn, you can be very successful, even in solo leveling. Yeah. Navix is testament to that fact. That's why it's hard to just say, when you say warrior, slowest leveling class, while there's truth in that, I'm going to stop saying stuff like that because it's player over class, man. I'll tell you right now.
It really is, dude. And I can tell you, like, I have probably not seen a bigger spread. Honestly, I've seen a pretty good spread when it comes to hunters, of like really average and okay hunters to really good hunters. But when you see a really good warrior, they surprise the hell out of you. They basically turn around everything that is supposed to be true about warriors and just turn around on their head. Like someone like Navik, who can just show time and time again that, you know, if you know what you're doing, it's so much better to have the skills and the knowledge than it is to have the class. Like, you know, certain classes are really, you know, are always going to be faster. Hunters are always going to be faster. But having the knowledge to like pull correctly, like you said, Kargoz, do things like this to recuperate quicker. You know, these little things that add so much over time will just make your level experience so much easier.
Absolutely. And it's a class, the nature of rage. Sorry, go ahead.
And when you hit 60 and you have a healer, you are an unstoppable killing machine.
Yes, absolutely. It's all worth it.
The nature of rage scales very well, so you get ramped up when you get heals, right? You know, you generate more rage and more damage you're taking, more damage you're doing. So, yeah, I mean, you put them in a group leveling, and they go from on the slower side. That's probably the best attempt I can do to show where warriors are at. On the slower side to on the faster side. So you put them with the shaman, even if you're doing a melee cleave, right? A lot of people are going to do a melee cleave. One's in the chat if you're going to do a melee cleave and spam dungeons and chase that dream. That's what I'd probably do if I was a warrior or rogue. It seems like a better quality of life doing it that way. Everyone has a different cup of tea, though. But in a melee cleave, stacking warriors is awesome, dude. You multiple sweeping strikes, cleave, whirlwind with Wind Fury Totem. Forget about it, dude. Forget about it. So warriors very good. You can tank. Best if I were to run a melee cleave right now, it'd be 2 shamans, 3 warriors. That would be it. That would be the best in slot melee cleave for me. Everybody has a different take on it, right? So that's all I'm saying. Group leveling, very strong. Moving on to dungeons and raids, it's kind of the same thing. Dungeon leveling, spell cleave, very good. They do a lot of damage. They don't have a whole ton of utility or crowd control or anything like that, but they can do a ton of damage. They can tank. They can play multiple roles.
Always bring a shield with you guys. No matter if you plan on tanking or not, just have a shield on you. You're a warrior. You're going to tank at some point. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Raids, very good damage. You know, even in phase 1, we've been doing Molten Core on the PTR just every week, practicing for launch conditions. Top damage is warrior in Molten Core, man. In raids, I will say they can potentially be a liability because they're melee and they can take more damage, but you know they can, you know, so it's just there's a healing kind of cost to it, but they just put out a ton of damage. Warriors really pump. They are fighting for the most competitive gear though. You know, hunters, rogues, warriors. There's a lot of people trying to fight for the warrior gear, but scale really well. Just big boys pretty much. It's just super thick in raids, man. Like no matter what you're doing.
I always liked for every class. I think it's important to discuss a little bit of the fancy. We did that in previous episodes, but still, I think it fits here. So I'm not going to do the whole point of fancy again. But one of the things I really like about warrior is also that every single race can be a warrior, and I personally like that to see which race is going to be the main tank in the guild, for example, to see which warrior in PvP, which race he's going to be. Is it going to be a gnome? Is it going to be human? Things like that. I really like also the style of human like attack mode before they go into battle. You know what I mean? Like the.
Are you talking about the idle weapon animation?
Yeah, indeed, the animation, the idle weapon animation. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So those kind of things, it's really minor, but still it adds a lot of flavor to the game, in my opinion. That's also something they changed later, right? In Cataclysm, you could play more Druid traces and more priest traces and stuff like that. Yeah. I kind of like it the way it was in vanilla, where warriors were like all the different traces and others had way fewer choices. But that's probably something. Well, it doesn't really make you decide which class, I guess. However, it might be cool to think about. Just a minor thing.
Yeah,
I mean, think about that.
I think that's like, I mean, warriors specifically, like, they are playable by a lot of classes, but you normally see warriors played by humans. I mean, when it comes to DPS on the alliance side, you really can't beat, like, especially how important weapon expertise is going to be in vanilla. Humans are just at the top when it comes to pure DPS. But of course, you see a lot of orcs on the horde. But I think for the most part, there are a lot of pros to no matter what race you play as a warrior. There's always some cool things. You see a lot of night elf tanks. You see a lot of Tauren tanks. And I think just for a lot of people, it's that feeling of being that warrior. You're either like the raid lead, you're either the lead, and having that knowledge of being either the person who's running the raid or doing this. And I think for a lot of people, warrior is that ultimate class that you will be. Like a lot of people who know and have played this game time and time again, they go to pick warrior because they know what to expect, they know what to do, they take that leadership position. I think warrior is probably time and time again always proved to be that leadership role that people go to.
Isaac with $5 saying Shaman got first 60 on Lights Hope. Good example. It's supposed to be number 8. Absolutely. It's player over class. At the end of the day, it's time spent. It's brute. It's a lot of stuff like that. So it's like more to the point we're saying that it's so hard to compare classes in that really simple way. Rating 2, I will just touch on this. We talked with Skarm. I've talked with Skarm a bunch now. Really nice guy. Most of you guys probably know who he is. Big brain, tanking dude. He was telling me that at the highest ends of speed running raids, which is a very small kind of niche thing in Classic WoW to begin with, but at that very highest end, you stack melee. And warriors perform, man. The meters are going to be brown and blue with some yellows thrown in there. As far as he's concerned, as speed clearing knacks with salad bakers and stuff like that. So warriors scale very well. Good class in raids. Very group dependent class though, like dependent on others, right? So moving on to dueling and world PvP. Dueling, personally, think one of the warrior's weaknesses. Unless you really overgear people, I think it's an uphill battle as a warrior versus a lot of classes. Not to say that you can't beat them, right? But again, it speaks to the point of being dependent on others to be successful. Dueling, other people have different opinions on dueling, how important dueling is. For me, it's just maybe it's an ego thing or whatever, but I like being able to handle myself 1v1. That's very important to me in making a class decision, and why I don't really roll warrior naturally, personally. But you have win conditions against any class. If you're rolling with the correct reflectors and the matchup really well, dude, you can absolutely take frost mages and stuff like that, especially if you catch a black and they don't have a cooldown or 2 or something like that. So that's my thoughts on dueling. World PvP depends how you define that. Is it 1v1? Or is it controlling Ungoro Crater? Is it controlling Dire Maul and you have a whole raid with you? Warriors, kind of the bulwark up front, being able to apply that irreversible, irrefutable Mortal Strike healing debuff. Lots of pressure by way of that. Big damage, kind of the bulwark. Can sort of wherever the warriors are at, it's kind of the eye of the storm. That's where the front lines are. Lots of damage connecting at that point. Natural sort of leadership role as a warrior as well. World PvP, battlegrounds again. Warriors almost essential. I would say you could run comps in battlegrounds without a warrior, but 9.5 times out of 10 you're going to see comps with warriors in them. You stack usually 2 priests, 2 mages, then 1 of every class, right? But you could put 2 warriors in there. So that's just my initial thoughts on that stuff. Anything you guys feel about dueling, world PvP, battlegrounds?
I agree with the dueling part. When I played warrior back in the day, I didn't feel like I could. It was always an uphill battle, like you said. But watching streams or videos of Swifty actually made me think I was just an awful bad dueler. So I don't know. I think you can make everything work if you want to. If that's your thing, you can make anything work, right? I also didn't like playing a warrior in Eldritch Valley, and overall I didn't really like playing BGs, but that's because I didn't have a pocket healer. So I think it kind of depends on if you go solo into BGs or not. I think it can be very fun if you have a healer, but if you're going alone and there's no healer around,
yeah, so true.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Great point.
Range classes just run AV.
Great point.
Yeah,
man.
right. Hunters. Oh my god. But I think I really like your point, Kargoz, when you said that that warriors can basically they have the possibility to defeat any class. If a warrior can get to you, you're gonna die. There is. a chance that a warrior can just destroy you in a matter of seconds. Sometimes you will try, very hard to get away, and you try your best, and then you're at 50% health. The next thing you know, you're just dead. Warrior gets a couple of lucky crits on you, you're done. So I think the skill difference, like we said before, to see like an average warrior versus a really skilled warrior is huge. And I've watched people like Executives Gaming who just destroy every class whenever they duel. So
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Another thing too, a big difference in fighting a warrior with a full rage bar or zero rage. Big difference, man. Big difference. You fight a warrior with full rage, you're in for some serious pain. You're serious pain. Thing about warriors too, man, is in reality, in practice on your server, people aren't just gonna be dueling with even gear all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna be like you're playing on Henhouse, everybody has potentially even gear, or some kind of like, private server with everyone has streamlined gear or axe equal stuff. Like, more often than not, someone's gonna outgear the other person. And all I'm saying is, if you have gear on a warrior, man, you're gonna scale really well, and you outgear people, you can be clapping people down, ignoring mechanics and just killing people. So BGs, yeah, we talked about BGs a little bit. Front runner. I think that's about it for warrior.
A little tidbit maybe. I like to collect tier sets from raids, and warrior is one of the few classes for which all the tier sets are actually relevant, depending on the spec, of course. But
and badass looking.
And badass looking. Yeah. So that's a huge plus for me for warrior.
Absolutely.
So if you're worried about rolling a warrior because it's the most gear dependent class, just remember that means you get the best gear. It makes you the best.
Mm-hmm.
If you're worried about leveling as a warrior, group up.
Dude, you got to say that again because I think people need to hear that.
Group up.
There you go.
Group up, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Yeah. And sweeping strikes. Acknowledge the power of that when you're playing a warrior. Cleave every 30 seconds. You're able to kill a couple targets. Amazing. All right, we can move on to... Oh, boy. This is going to... I don't even want to get him started, man. Do we do it? Oh, man. The Paladin. Look how cool that Dwarf Paladin looks. We have 2 Paladins here. First time we have 2 members of the Alliance scum in the Morning Azeroth. I don't know how I feel about that, Chad. How do you feel about that? 2 Paladins in here. We're outnumbered, guys. This is your... I don't even want to speak on Paladin because you guys are the resident experts here. Where do we start, man? Let's go. Leveling. We'll start with leveling. How do you guys feel about the Paladin?
You go.
Oh, yeah. I get to explain this, huh? Based on how things have been going in the beta, you better only go prot if you really like it, I think. Or if it's a little risky because you're not going to be able to kill things as fast without sit proccing working, unless, for example, you're running around with a mage. That'll work really well if you find the right packs to AoE farm. But beyond that, you should probably take a look at Kargoz's Paladin leveling guide and go with the red approach. He has both in there. I don't think there's much arguing with that if you're by yourself. But as a support class, what are you doing by yourself?
Right.
Go find a friend.
Mm-hmm. The main reason to play Paladin is obviously the tier 2 set.
Oh, the tier 2 set. Too bad you don't get to wear the damn thing. Is there a use case for actually wearing it other than like RPing with a Libra?
There are, yeah.
I've heard that this Paladin, like the Retribution, who is going with spell damage gear, for that kind of Paladin, the tier 2 set might be best in slot. If that Paladin is actually viable, I don't know.
Right.
But it's something.
There actually are some good pieces of tier 2 too. Like I know the shoulders suck, right?
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
You want to collect it just to look awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then
Kargoz,
don't use it in raids.
The answer is the use case is it's phase 3. That's why.
Yeah, I think he went up to get a drink, but yeah, this is talking about paladins. He just leaves.
Oh yeah, great. I'm sorry.
That's how much he cares about paladins.
Oh, great.
Oh, I gotta say though, I really like if I were to play paladin, man, I want to level prot. Maybe not until level 40 or so, but. I think prot paladin's awesome, but solo leveling, like you guys said, yeah, absolutely. Ret is probably your best option if you're gonna be solo leveling. But
another thing we noticed, and Kargoz was actually the first of us to really pick up on this, is how much XP you can get from dungeons if you do them efficiently. And no one would say that a prot paladin can't tank a dungeon.
Oh right.
So
absolutely.
if you want to do that leveling, that's fine.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting things about the Paladin, in my opinion, are the seals and all the buffs too. But the seals are super unique. It's something I didn't see in any other game. Like I said, I started with Warrior, and that's like the most basic thing you can see in any game. But the Paladin seals, they, with the judgment and all the things, they work so different from anything else. It's a major selling point for me too, for the Paladin, just the playstyle. I like it a lot. Many people think it's boring, but I think it...
Wankadin?
Guys, if I played a class on Alliance, it'd be Paladin. Paladin is amazing.
There you go, man.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Paladin is amazing. Paladin's such a good class. I think it's the best support class, honestly.
It's an awesome support
when you play
class.
Paladin,
Excuse me?
Dude, I'm sorry, man.
No,
I'm sorry, dude. I'm a proud member of the Horde, Loktar Ogar, Blood and Thunder, everybody. But when you play a Paladin, you feel like you have so much impact over like every member of your party. You feel like you can just do a little.
What about a priest?
You feel like you can do a little something.
Or a
something
shaman.
Nah, man.
A little bit
shaman.
No, man.
Get out of here with your discount salvation.
You're giving them auras.
Okay. Yeah, giving them auras. Okay, you know, I'd much rather be able to put, you know, okay, yeah, maybe you can give them auras. Maybe you can give them a little, you know, bop or whatever. But you know, I gotta say, dude, like, what other class can give you fucking Wind Fury? All right, and you know, I understand, you know, like when it comes to, but I'd much rather have. Okay, paladins are. You know, I love holy paladins. I do. I'm not gonna lie. But priest, dude, like, you know, if you have a priest, what other class can give you fucking power infusion if you're a caster to do 20% more damage?
Yeah, if you go like
right?
meme spec.
Yeah. Meme spec? How is discipline a meme spec?
No, I'm talking.
Discipline's a meme spec.
Well, isn't that that's not the standard rating spec though, right? Getting power infusion.
No, we're talking about PvP though.
Oh, PvP.
Dude.
Okay, a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you with that. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
that's right. What other class can buff your spell damage, and then what other class can make you immune when the warrior turns around?
I don't know, man. Here's my thing, dude. I actually often opt, and I play control when I play card games. When I play games, I like to actually be more defensive and reactionary in order to deal with what's presented to me. So that's why I like Warlock over Mage. I'm not like a glass cannon, high tempo, high finesse person that engages and disengages and all that. I like to plant my feet, to dig deep, you know, and just tur it out with a paladin next to me. As a warrior, as a warlock, I would feel so safe. CC immune, like just hold it down like the Alamo. You know, that's my style. So pretty much, man, like paladins, you're able to give. So you know about Fel concentration for warlocks too, Dunedain? I don't know. We have a 70% pushback resistance when it comes to channeling drain life or drain mana. Paladins with concentration aura can complete the circuit and can give you 100% pushback resistance. So the auras, you can give multiple auras, multiple blessings and multiple auras, plus just hard, just irrefutable oh shit buttons that nobody can do anything about.
It's called easy mode.
It's I don't know, man. It's just insane. Blessing of Sacrifice. How good is Blessing of Sacrifice in PvP Defcamp?
it's insane.
It's good. You know, it is good. But I gotta say, dude, like, you know, okay. Here's the thing about, like, you know, paladins in PvP. They are decent, but I do not think there is a better class that can deal with, you know. I mean, you know, priests can mana burn. We can mind control. We can power infusion. We can you know, dispel. Like, not even, like, I know priests can dispel as well, but you know, you can dispel enemy faction. You can dispel your friendly targets. You can you know, power word shield. You can. It's just, when it comes to how much you can heal.
Someone remind Defcamp that there's a priest section later.
But I have to say,
I'm just
out of what you're saying, Defcamp, though, dude, mana burn, so true though. How useful is a paladin with no mana, guys? It's actually funny.
Exactly.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And they need support. You know, they're potatoes. You need a swiftness potion if you're a paladin. If no swiftness potion, you might as well just. If someone attacks you, you might as well just sit down, dude. Slash sit and just accept your fate, or bubble hearth or something, man. Like,
when it comes to defensive, though, man, being defensive, like, paladins are really good at being defensive.
But I think paladins are the ultimate support class. Not, well, they're probably the ultimate healer too, but the ultimate support, yeah, they are in a way, you know.
they don't have a AoE heal or a heal over time.
Yeah, I know they are. I agree. They are not the most.
They just have the most efficient thing ever. Flash of light, though. How does Flash of Light make you feel, Defcamp? How does Flash of Light make you feel?
I mean, they're efficient. I'll give them that.
Yeah,
but who needs efficiency when you got speared out the wahoo? And you know, I mean, listen, I'm not arguing to say they're not efficient. Okay, I'm not, but I would who wants to sit there and just hit flashlight all day? You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say, buddy, I have a heal over time. I'd have to just keep casting it.
Yeah, right.
The other thing too, dude, is I love, as a Warlock player, I appreciate being able to generate resources on demand. By the way, can you guys like the stream and share the stream with your grandma, your ma, your great aunt, your nieces, your nephews, your uncles, your Uncle Chuck, dude? Just share it with everybody, guys. I want to see tons of likes on the stream. We have like a very little likes on the stream, even though there's like 2K people in here. Shout out to everybody listening. But Paladins, man. What was I gonna say?
So much support.
So much.
I can't believe I'm the one actually having to talk about. Usually I'm defending Paladins. That's great. I'm like,
oh man, dude, like Blessing of Sanctuary Paladin, where you can be holy and a little bit of prot. That just sounds like the good life.
But,
being able to tank stuff, like it's the one tank too. Tanking as a Paladin is a joy. I feel it's a joy. Yeah. Tanking
I thought you were gonna say it's a joke because that's true as well. But
it's a joy. It's a joy.
I'm going to say something about the support. I know we are getting the 1.12 talents, and I know I talked a lot about 1.1 talents, but in the earlier versions of the game, I think Paladins were like the only support class in a way, as in they were like they had a totally different play style than anything else, and it's not in the game anymore since the rework of the classes. Basically, what I mean is they had like the 5-minute buffs, which many people don't like, but I do like them. I think I didn't play back then, so I'm not exactly sure. But it feels like it would be an insanely different and interesting play style to be like the raid buffer, which can throw an occasional flash of light, which is swinging the hammer on certain bosses, doing the judgments needed on certain fights. Just be there as a support, either as DPS, as healing, as tanking a little bit, and I feel that's how the Paladin was supposed to be played in the first place.
Dude. Yeah. Seal of Wisdom, Seal of Light, some of my favorite abilities on Paladin.
I will. I was just about to say that, Kargoz. I think those mechanics, I would have loved to see more of that type of mechanic where putting a debuff on the target that gives you mana or health back. I think that's such a cool idea.
Cool. You can do that for your. It works with wanding too, Defcamp. How sick is that?
Yeah,
dude? It works with wanding.
I know. And like what I'm saying is, I would love to have seen more of those mechanics in the game. But since the fact that Paladins are the only ones who can do that, it's definitely a plus for them. You know,
it's not just Warlocks that can generate resources on demand. Warlocks, people think they're the class that can generate resources on demand. Drain life, drain mana, life tap, dark pack, all that. Paladin, nope. Can not only do one of resource, can do two at the same time. They could judge wisdom and use Seal of Light. Like, I love how they can generate on-demand resources and have their party members generate on-demand resources. Goddamn. Okay. So
all right.
Also, they don't have to downrank in raids.
Well,
I don't anyway.
Okay.
You gonna start that conversation?
Yeah.
I don't even know. How it is.
Well, what I do is I melee and I have Seal of Wisdom up, and I just am using max strength, Flash of Light, or nothing at all, so that I'm not interrupting my swing time, and I think I actually get more mana that way than downranking.
Another thing about leveling as a Paladin, solo leveling, people say that it's very like, you guys have seen that meme, right? Where they're like, there's the whole meme of like, they've designed Paladin so you could like jerk off while you're playing a Paladin. Like, honestly,
yeah, I did that. I did the whole wanking thing.
Yeah, the wanking. It's not. It's actually not true though, man. Like if you build if you build out your talents properly, like it's somewhat active. Like you're judging multiple times, you're reducing the cooldown of judgment, keeping blessings up on yourself, you're hodging, you're doing some stuff. It's not really just throw up a seal and just brain dead and auto attack stuff if you're playing it right. That's one thing I will say. Another thing with regard to, I mean, dungeons, just it's an absolute joy and pleasure to do dungeons as a Paladin. It's just amazing. Raids, you know, amazing. Played in what mainly a holy capacity though. I don't know about that ret nonsense, but if we're talking about ret though, ret, if they have specialized sets, shout out to Drakova. He was the first guy who turned me on to this. I watched Drakova, right? You know what? Drakova would not lose duels. He would play a ret Paladin and he would be owning everybody. And what he would do is he would build out specialized set with like shadow resistance or a special type of resistance on it, and have these weird sets that I never saw before for ret Paladin. And he would be owning people. So what I would say to people too is if you PvE to PvP and your end goal is to PvP, ret Paladin is just as viable as anything else, man. Like, everything goes out in the open world. So if you want to PvE to PvP, go do your day job, your 9-to-5 wage cage, go raid holy, hit some people with some flash of light, do your thing. Respect raid if you want, or respect red if you want to. Go out in the open world, bring all the consumables you can benefit from, melee consumables and spell power consumables. Go out there as ret Paladin, clap some people out in PvP. So if you PvE to PvP, ret's as viable as anything else.
I mean,
Yeah.
when it
Right.
comes to world PvP, like you have basically 3 lives, right? You have, if you catch them without any cooldowns, with all their cooldowns, they have their bubble, they have lay on hands, and they have their original health pool. So it's a lot to deal with if you're out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun rocking Seal Casino.
See what
Every once in a while it goes off and you feel like a warrior.
But Red Paladin, I think it was never supposed to be like the real DPS spec, or well, it was never supposed, in my opinion, to be like a real DPS class in a way. It's more like a support class still, but more specialized to do some damage sometimes. Just like when it
Yeah.
matters, you can do more damage if you're spec threat, but you can still support it in many ways.
Right.
Another weird thing is you have 8% movement speed on Pursuit of Justice talent, right? Isn't it what it's called? 8%? That ends up being about the same as a mage. If you were to race on a big flat surface with a mage and they were to blink every cooldown and you were to use your Pursuit of Justice, you're not going to be too far behind the mage. He'll still be a little bit ahead of you, but Paladins does have some sort of base movement speed, and it works for mounted movement speed too. So,
Yeah.
so that world PvP
You'll
battle
catch
royals.
people.
Yeah, man. Here's the thing about Ret though. Why play Ret when Holy is just so disgustingly powerful? I never understood.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's like if I were to play a paladin, I would not play anything but holy. So
Do you love
it's
melee
just-
DPS that much? I don't even know. Do people love it that much? Because Holy is just so strong. That why would you not play?
I mean,
Holy?
that's what I said. I
Okay.
would only play holy. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way, it's the only two-hander for Alliance, the only two-handed class, at least for Alliance.
Yeah.
Warrior too, but it's better to play dual
Better be
wields
a-
most of
yeah,
the time.
dual wields,
So
Yep. Okay.
All right. Anything else? Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, we're good. We're moving on. We'll let the chat decide. We can just let decide. I have them in an order here, but let's let the chat. I want to cater to the chat. People are here.
You want to do a straw poll or?
Well, let's just see. I want the chat to light up with all types of degeneracy, and we can just pick something from it. What do you guys want to see, guys? Chat. I want to see the chat move so fast. I want to see likes on the stream.
I guarantee
We'll
we're going to
see
see a
people
bunch of druids.
Going
We're gonna see a lot of
crazy in the
druids.
chat. Berserk mode. Can we just berserk mode chat real quick? Let's see it. Everybody go berserk. $5
Yep,
from Astro
druid,
Walker. Thank you so
warlock,
much,
priest,
dude.
Priest, mage, druid, lock, hunter.
It's not going
shaman,
berserk
rogue,
mode enough, man. This
priest,
is
mage,
casual. You guys are
warlock,
casuals. You need to get these numbers up.
Druid,
Chat.
mage, druid. Whoa, there it
My
goes.
problem
I see a
with
lot of
PvE
druids.
Paladins is
Yeah.
they
Look at
have
all
the
that druid.
coolest armor
Mage,
set,
mage,
but you
mage,
will still be
druid,
Look at that, dude.
expected to wear cloth and
I see it.
leather for
Dude, I don't know
boots.
what it is. There's so many druid fans out there.
Dude,
That's
the
champ
chat's
shit.
moving too fast. I never saw it
think
move this
druid,
fast
I think
before.
druid definitely won, dude.
That's funny, dude. Oh man, you don't want to trigger the chat. They go berserk. Oh no.
It is
dude.
definitely
Somebody said
druid.
Demon Hunter. Get out of here with that.
Oh man, look at
Druid,
that chat. Oh man, I love it. There's some snapples in the chat too. Okay, Druid it is.
Yeah.
Alright, where's Druid at?
All right.
Okay, Druid. Here we go. Look at this little moose antler looking. I actually kind of like this.
We'll
set,
get
to
there,
be honest.
Greg. We'll get there, Greg, brother. We will.
okay.
There's
we'll get to him.
some chickens, oh my.
Yep. Yeah, well over 2K people in the chat, man. Awesome, dude. Love to see that, guys. Thank you for
That's awesome, dude.
chilling out with us, man. This is dude, great time to be alive. Druids. Man, okay, solo leveling, group leveling. We'll start with the whole leveling thing.
Yeah.
Any initial thoughts, guys?
Shadow Priest.
Oh my
yeah,
come
God.
very
please.
fun to level. It changes a lot in the early levels. Many people like it, many people hate it. So depends. If you want a lot of spells early on, for a single spec, for example, for a single form, actually, that's not the class to roll. But if you like having different forms with basic abilities, actually, until level 30-ish, then Druid is really nice. But the playstyle changes
Shadow
from level
Priest
10 and then
content,
10 to
please.
20 and from 20 to 30, since you get new forms all the time. So it's one of the most fun classes for me to level, probably the funnest out of all for me
It's a
to
tier 1
level.
leveling speed class too. They have
Oh, yeah,
And it's so fast.
it's fast. Front shredding's not a thing, but that's okay. Greg C with the $2. Thank you so much, man. So here's the thing about druids. High skill cap class. You have to have an add-on that tracks your caster mana, because the whole reason why you can go like an Energizer bunny is that you can swap back and forth between animal form and caster form, and that when you're in animal form, you can still be proactive, you're still using abilities, you still have a whole kit and arsenal of stuff to do, but your caster form is regenerating per your spirit-based mana regeneration. So that's essential to the class, being able to know that very, very core fundamental mechanic of the class. Very little downtime class, probably the most gear independent class when it comes to leveling as well.
Yeah.
Very gear independent. You don't have to worry about weapon progression at all. Weapon progression is weapon is just a stat stick for you, minus the whole Nomergon thing, whatever, dude, the crowd pummeler. But other than that, man, it's about
You can, it's awesome too, dude. Being able to tank when you need to, being able to stealth, being able to root. Like, you know how awesome it is to be able to root any friggin' mob you want out in the world, whether it's an elite, just being able to root them and have them sit there in that root the whole time. You can kite them, do whatever you want. Like, I think there's pretty much
on some Buzz Lightyear shit to infinity and beyond. There's no DR on entangling roots. You can literally
entangle
no
DR. Dude, it's crazy. It's so OP if you know how to use entangling roots. Unfortunately, you can only use it outside. But yeah, you have so many things in your toolkit. Dude, you just got a $20 donation, brother.
$20 DKK Anders, thank you so much for that. This is pure juice. Yes, this is pure juice. Can we get some juice in the chat? Some juice. Spell it in the most memey way you can. Get some juice. So solo leveling, group leveling. Group leveling, yeah, I mean, you have a lot of utility for classes you can give, especially if you're going to be with a Paladin or something, you can give Imp Thorns. Imp Thorns ends up being a lot of your damage. You got some really powerful stuff. You are a support utility class at the end of the day as a Druid. Solo leveling also as well. Like I said, here's one thing about Druid, though. One thing to point out. You know how you guys want to use cat form as soon as you get it? Level 20, you get cat form. You want to go into cat form, right? You want to use it. Some of the biggest brain Druids I know who speed level Druids, they don't go cat form, dude. They go bear form for a little while. Sometimes even go all the way to 30 because cat form... Bruh, cat form, you go into cat form and you can't power shift because you don't have Fury, so you don't have energy right off the bat. So, and then you also don't have a lot of proactive abilities. You don't have Ferocious Bite till 32. So some of the big brain Druids, speed level, shout out to Bornless Zero, they stay bear for a while. Bear's so good. Bear's so good. So that's one thing. It's handling roots. I mean, being able to tank dungeons while leveling up, dude, super easy. Swipe, just hit swipe, AoE, big multiplicative threat, table. Super good. Tier 1 leveling speed. You can partner up too. Very good friendly duo leveling type thing if you want to group level because you can shred. You can go to cat form, you can shred from behind as long as someone is managing the threat a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
For raids and dungeons, but especially raids, I feel it's one of the most interesting healers in a way, but only starting from the Burning Crusade, actually. I feel like they have all the tools to be the most interesting healer in vanilla, but the dots, or what's it called, the hots rather, they don't stack, and that makes it a little bit boring. Yeah, but it would be super interesting if they would stack, and I think it does in the Burning Crusade, and then it's probably my favorite one. So they have so many great tools, but they cannot use them, or they can use them, but only marginally, actually.
I think...
Sorry, go ahead. Go.
I think Druids in raids, a lot of people that, when so many people, and I think Skarm is going to prove this, and a lot of other people are going to prove this, that Druids are not just good for healing. They are exceptional, if not tier 1, I would say tier 2 tanks. I think time and time again, I think people were shown in early vanilla when bears were horrible, when they had horrible armor value and they just weren't good. It left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. But Druids got reworked. They are exceptional tanks. They are very good. In some fights, they're even better than Warriors in some fights. But I think we're going to see this time around in Classic a lot more Druid tanks, and I'm really, really, really excited for that.
420 people watching the Twitch stream. 420's in the chat. It's a great point. Skarm is making a powerful statement to the community by going Druid, and he actually straight up thinks he's tanked on every tank, Paladin, Warrior, Druid. He's not just like obsessed with just Druid and Warrior. He's played every tank in the game, right? And he's making a statement to the community by going Druid and saying, I think Druid has advantages over Warrior in phase 1, and he's maining a Druid. It's his first thing he's leveling up. I think we're gonna maybe see Druids in that feral capacity kind of rise up and shine. It's cool, really cool to see that. Also, one of the main issues in raids, why HOTS, as Dunedain mentioned, is that people don't let HOTS tick and extract full value. Healers, if you're playing like an individual and you don't play as one collective healing mana pool, you will just top people off and aggressively try and get those meters. You'll pump your meters, and you're not going to let HOTS do their thing. So if you're really playing as a group, playing together, and you know how to get value from HOTS, and I'm not a healer. This is just basically regurgitating what I've heard from good healers. People like Egregious.
It's so true, though, dude. So true. Yeah.
Yeah, so true. And you know about this because you are a healer. You are a healer, Defcamp.
Yep.
Very, very much. Vom, thank you for the 200.
I can't tell you how many times, dude. I have renews ticking on mad people, and I'm getting so much. And then you see someone cap it off. Like, let that renew tick, especially if there isn't any other damage going out there. Let that renew tick. Let that regrowth tick. Just like you said, healers should be healing as if it's one giant mana pool. you shouldn't be fighting each other to top each other off. That is not the right way to heal. You should be working with each other.
Also,
That's
Druid's
not vanilla,
least
right?
played class in the game by far. Least played class in the game by far. And you will level up so quickly. You will be in demand. And you will also gear up so quickly. So Druids are a great... they level up. You look back at private servers, and we're going to look at Classic. They gear up really, really quickly. It's also a very good way to make a name for yourself. If you're on a big metropolis of a server and you're a good Druid, people are going to be looking for you to be a good flag carrier, to be in the raids, because good Druid, man, you can make a name for yourself. Maybe easier than any other class. Just something I'm throwing out there. It's a class that shines really bright, but from behind the scenes, and often doesn't have the big, fat parse or whatever that they can go to show what they're doing, their impact. But Druid, very high impact class, amazing raid utility as well with Innervate, Battle Res. This is stuff that when you're doing progression is definitely valuable, for sure. What else?
What about Moonkins?
Could we? Oh, okay. Talk about Moonkins.
What is it? 3 crit? You get 3 crit from the aura?
It's skull crit, baby. It's worth it, man. I say
crit?
bring at least one boomkin. I'm down. Yeah.
3 crit?
I'm bringing one.
Are you?
Yeah, so are we.
Yeah.
We're bringing one too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with Elemental Shaman with Boomkin, what I'd say, it's arcane damage for Boomkin. Thankfully, it's not nature damage for Shaman. But yeah, I mean, you gotta just know how to downrank stuff and kind of put some thought into it. And I've heard reports that Boomkin can parse higher and sim higher than Elemental Shaman. Again, this is from the Druid Discord. It's rumblings in the Druid Discord that people feel that Boomkin's in not of a bad spot as people think when it comes to putting out damage. It's something that you can explore. What I would say though is if you're coming into Classic right now, I wouldn't start with one of those more fringe specs. I would go in there and do what's traditionally expected of you to do, become really solid with your class and its mechanics, and then start to do that exploratory work after and make a name for yourself. Like, you feel me though? Like, would you, before you experiment with Elemental Shaman and go into do an Elemental Shaman, just heal for a little bit, be traditionally what you're supposed to do, and then naturally, as you learn more and more about your class, graduate into that. And then if you're going to be a Boomkin, hold it down, man. Go above and beyond.
And be the best Boomkin you can be. And, something I've been shown and proven kind of time and time again is just how versatile Druids are, though. I mean, yeah, a lot of times we all know they're the master of, I forget the fucking saying. They're the whatever of nothing and jack of all trades. That's
master
it.
Of none.
Yeah. But it's so true, and you have such a wide toolkit. Whether it's we haven't really talked much about form swapping. But form swapping is so important to Druid, and knowing how to form swap properly, you can pretty much get out of any scenario. We have a great Druid that we play with, Vomp. He's exceptional. He's awesome. He knows what to do, when to heal, when to go into form, when to go stealth. It's just awesome to see a good Druid, at play, because they just can deal with any situation almost. Whether they're healing, whether they're DPSing, you have stealth to deal with, and there are, it might take a little bit of more time for a Druid to whittle its target down, but they can really if play with the target. And I mean, talk about the what's that word? I'm not even going to try today. Right now, I'm having but the aspect of all these little things together of nuance. There we go, nuance. When it comes to nuance, I think Druids are the king of how much nuance you can put in that class.
There's also a lot of creativity to your play. That's one thing when I'm speaking
Absolutely.
towards the PvP. I don't know what to do. I couldn't tell you how to play a Druid in PvP. I would have zero idea, because I'd have some of an idea, but good Druids you play against, they just do weird shit. They keep you in combat. They do weird stuff. They're popping in and out of form. They're moving in and out. They're engaging, just knowing how your kit works and knowing what your win condition is versus different classes. Druids have gas though. They can go for days. It's the whole going back to that whole idea of going from caster form into animal form, and they can just out attrition you. Even as a Soul Link Shadowburn Warlock, I was running out of mana. If the Druid can survive past that critical point and go into bear form and I'm running out of mana, they will out attrition me. Druids can go the distance, and they're very good against mages. They can counter the mage kit really well. If you have the open world at their disposal and they can move in and out and disengage, re-engage as they please, Druids are a threat. And even if I'd say that their main lacking thing is is offensive burst potential. If you're like a Resto Druid or something like that, it's tough. You kind of have to just chip away at people, and you have to really earn your kills. People say that Druids really have to earn it. when you kill someone as a druid, you have to earn it, man. It's not just gonna be an easy clap for you. Schnoogle, subscribe to Twitch Prime. Thank you so much, man.
Schnoogle.
So also farming as a druid. Farming as a druid is pretty solid. You can do princess runs. You can do a lot of different things. You can get really creative with how you farm as a druid. You have stealth. You can do these Nomer runs again to do your crowd pummeler, which can make you a little bit of gold as well. Farming, you can AoE farm as a druid. Druids are dope in that sense. Balance, that's another thing about balance. When you were talking about balanced druids, the Moonkin druids, Boomkin druids. Dueling, open world PvP. We've seen those Stormex compilations of him owning people as balance.
Oh, yeah.
Totally possible, man. I just wouldn't.
It's
So
super
good.
fun in PvP, actually. I played one lately, private server.
Yeah, me too.
Probably
In,
fun.
during the AV weekend, it was a lot of fun, man.
What do you think of the tier sets? To me, it's like my second favorite tier set, actually, after tier 2 of Paladin.
Really? I think they're pretty decent. Yeah. I think they're very fitting. They fit is what a druid should be. A lot of them. Yeah, for the most part, they're decent. I would say that they're, for me, I would probably rank them like my third or fourth favorite.
Okay, many people hate them, but I really like them.
I think it's flavorful. Here's the thing I'd also say though, like if you're playing Druid, you know who you are. If a lot of people come in the chat and say, "Should I play Druid or play this?" Druid resonates with some people. They just like it. They love it, dude. They love it. But if you're like on the fence and you're trying to compare like a mage or a warrior versus a druid, kind of just straightforward, like very high impact, classes versus a druid, I usually say just go pick mage or warrior, because I feel like the druid players out there, they know who they are, man. And their tier sets look very flavorful, very like consistent with the RP of druids. I like them.
Yeah,
I like them. De facto flag carriers as well. De facto flag carriers that work in tandem with the mage and Warsong Gulch to get that flag across.
So good.
I think that's about it though. Or what do you think?
I have
Pharaoh.
one more thing,
Resto
Kargoz.
vs.
As you
Pharaoh.
know, I recently
Balance.
joined the Taladrill department for research on bears. And I have something to share about bears that's potentially earth-shattering, but I don't really want to do it if the chat isn't interested, so... I don't know, does the chat want to hear something crazy about
Does the
bears?
chat want to hear some earth-shattering next-level metagape with regard to bears? I think they do. Let's see. Resto versus Pharaoh balance. Thank you for the 10 Ron. Where's Ron from? What kind of currency is that? Thank you very much, Robert. Resto versus Pharaoh.
Romanian noodles.
Romanian noodles. Thank you very much, man. All right, I think the chat's interested, man.
Everyone's tell us.
Okay.
All right, man.
I know a lot of you guys aren't in the beta, and probably haven't had an opportunity to even try to test this, but as you know, Classic is running on the 8.0 engine, and they have a re-implementation of spell batching back in 2005. And it is different than the spell batching that exists back then. It's about a 400 millisecond window, is that right?
Yeah, 400 milliseconds, yep.
Yeah. But because it has 8.0's macro engine, it can actually execute multiple commands at once, provided that you don't fire off a GCD. And because of this, you can now write /cancel aura bear form /use major health stone /cast higher bear form and never get hit.
Oh, what?
Because
Really?
all of it will be batched atomically. It's impossible for you to get hit with a swing.
Wait. Say it again. Sorry.
That's huge.
Make it like really dumb and easy for me to understand. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. The idea is that using a macro, bears in Classic will be able to safely use consumables, health potions,
While tanking
health
Kargoz.
stones, while tanking. Yes.
That's pretty
You
dope.
don't have to worry
Stone
about getting
shield
hit in
potions.
form, yeah.
Can they use like sappers and shit? Can they use like or weird stuff that you can
They
use?
can
in cast
only
form?
use things that do not trigger the global cooldown. So there's
Oh,
no
okay.
nature, swiftness, healing touch yourself, or innervate the healer, or rebirths or anything like that.
Right.
But you can use a consumable because consumables don't trigger the GCD, and because of how spell batching works in Classic, you will not get hit. According
That's
to the
awesome.
test. And it has been tested by me, and it's been tested by a couple of other people. I'm going to try to get Navik to do it too, because you know how thorough he is. But so far, we've yet to find anything. Now, this alone sounds great. However, it's even better.
Oh.
Okay.
Because of how Bear Form and Heart of the Wild work. In vanilla, whenever a druid goes between caster form and bear form, their maximum HP is adjusted accordingly, but their health percentage remains the same. So the calculation goes like this. They're in bear form. They go back to caster. They use a major health stone. It heals them for 1200. They immediately return to bear, and the effective healing is like 19 something? 17 something? Yeah,
go bear,
the point is that,
yeah, makes sense.
So it's a factor of the bear's max HP divided by the caster form's max HP. They get that every single time.
Bear plus rage pots too. Someone is saying that's another thing you could do. Yeah, rage pots.
So
wait, can you use a rage pot if you have no bear
possible?
and if you have no rage in caster form though? Could you use a rage pot?
It was not. Can you use a rage pot? I don't think rage pots blow the GCD. Now, people are going to say, why was this not a thing in vanilla? And the answer is because vanilla did not have a way in the macro system of canceling a buff. If you wanted to cancel a buff, you had to run Lua. And if you put a /run and put some Lua script in there, now you've violated the integrity of the atomic operation, and things can split and go in wrong orders and stuff. But as long as you never have any Lua intervening, it'll all get batched at the same time.
So I'm going to
That's awesome.
say something that will probably spoil the fun, but I feel like that should be patched.
Well,
spoil the fun. F's in the chat for Dunedain, dude. Spoil the fun. Oh, dude, you crack me up. Sorry, keep going.
I would agree with you if they could also do things like toss innervates out and rebirths and stuff like that.
Yes,
But just
exactly.
potions,
But because like so many people were like, oh, a lot of people like shit on druids for not being able to do that, like to use a health pod, and I think that kind of just puts them on par for tanking. Yeah, if they were able to innervate, to rebirth, then I think that'd be going too far.
Well,
Absolutely.
if you read Taladril's treatise on this, you can learn a lot about bear tanks, and the whole idea that now we've got the highest single target TPS tank in the game can drink health potions, and they're 50% more effective. Maybe Prot's out of a job.
So-
and if that's the case, well, at least at really extreme levels, and if that's the case, maybe Dunedain has a point.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well,
That's really interesting
I don't
stuff,
think
though.
Prod will
man.
ever be out of a job personally, but that is actually really juicy. Thank you, Echi Chobani Yogurt. Shout out to Chobani Yogurt. Big fan. Thanks for the Twitch
Chobani.
Chobani, very good stuff. That's really juicy information, man. Thanks for sharing that, dude.
That is really
and you
juicy
know
stuff,
what?
man.
You
Interesting,
heard
yeah.
first here on Good Morning Azeroth.
That's right,
Nobody else
baby.
knows about it.
Fresh off the press, Good Morning Azeroth, the community show from Codeblue. Thank you, man. All right.
I see a lot of priest. I see a lot of priest people.
Is there anything we didn't cover from Druid? No, I'm trying to think. I don't want to do a disservice to any class.
Did we cover? We covered World PvP. We covered Battlegrounds. Dueling? Did we cover dueling?
Druids can duel, man. Yeah, they can duel.
Yeah. Group leveling.
Can you? I'm kind of embarrassed to not know this, but can you use a lot of the engineering stuff while you're in form? I don't think you can, right? I feel like that's an issue.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
So-
Hunter, that's me.
I'm a big engineering
Considering that you can't talk to people, I doubt you can do a grenade.
It's
No,
THICC.
Yeah, that's always been kind of a down, but that's why you you have to learn how to shift.
Yeah, you got to power shift, man. You got to be
Shifting's huge,
gotta be a power gamer. Thank you for the $2, thick man. All right, guys, what class you want to see? We got to see some absolute degeneracy, pure, unadulterated rage. Just go into berserk, eyes roll back in your head, great white shark mode. What class you want to see next, guys? Hopefully we didn't do it a disservice. We're about to go to the next class, guys. What do we want to see, man? We'll see the chat move so fast. I can't even see it. It's just going to look like a blur of Skittles on my screen.
No, hey, no double typing, guys. I
No,
see the
double
same
typing,
person
triple typing. Spam it, dude. Control C, Control V. I want to see pure rage, dude. I want to see the rage of the
Whoever's
classic
loudest
community.
wins.
Exactly.
There you
Look
go.
at that.
Whoever's loudest wins. There
Yeah,
you go.
you'll love to see that.
Mage, priest, hunter, rogue.
Berserk.
it's all like 3 in a row, like mage, priest, hunter, shaman. I'm seeing a lot of shaman, priest, mage, and hunters.
All right,
Yeah.
Dunedain, pick a name from the chat. Just like close your eyes, open your name, first name that you see, and whatever class that they chose. Whatever
Andrew
class.
Saluti, Hunter.
Hunter. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Time to talk
Oh,
about some
boy.
hunters, the boys in green.
Oh, God.
Defcamp's favorite camp, Defcamp. You want to go on an elaborate rant about how much you love hunters and how much you want to play
sure.
hunter and how much you want to re-roll and get rid of the scuffed priest class and just play hunter for the rest of your days.
It's
Get outta
orgasmic
here.
when I hear
Look at
how
that
good
fish.
the druid
Get outta
is
here.
hunt.
Defcamp loves hunters, guys. One thing about Defcamp, biggest hunter fan, dude. Biggest hunter fanboy.
It's not that I hate hunters, just that they are my least favorite class. That's all.
I got you. It's orgasmic when I hear how good Druid is. Thanks for the $10, Robert. Yeah, I feel it. That's how I feel about rogues, though. You feel me? Does everybody have that class where like you're just not into the most? Like it
No, you
pains
hate
me.
rogues. Don't lie. You hate rogues.
I do. I mean,
Yeah, I don't hate hunters. I hate hunters when they're draining my mana with fucking. I mean, like one button and they can just it pisses me off. You know what I'm saying? That's
okay.
I would say probably Warlock would have been that class, but I'm interested in playing any class.
Okay, so hunters, dude. Think about hunters.
Hunters.
It's just so cool. Look at the way the word looks, like hunter. Like it's just so balanced. Like the big H. It's just everything about the class is so cool. Like
if you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
dude, I'm gonna make it my first alt. Like they use the color green. Like shout out to green, man, dude. Green is just a great color. Like they spawn with a little hatchet and a little bow, and you go make friends with the beasts in the wilderness. What a cool class. Tier sets look amazing. You actually get to use your tier sets, so it's not like you look like a dilapidated mess. Like you play Paladin hoping to wear full tier 2, and then you just end up wearing like a skirt, like a mini skirt, and like a little, skull cap or whatever. Like no, dude, Hunter, you rock your tier sets. You go tier 1, tier 2, tier 2.5, tier 3, and it's just cool. Like you look really cool. You're a threat out in world PvP on a Hunter. Amazing, so fun. The bow sound. No, I don't even need to say much about solo leveling as a hunter. That's probably going to be the fastest class to 60. We're going to see a female Night Elf hunter get 60 first. Absolute monsters, dude. Built to level. They're
Hey,
Ford
Kargoz,
tough.
what happened to using infinite value loop as
It's
a term?
the one class.
Smiley
There's the
face.
donation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pipsy, for the 150, bro. For the 148, actually.
Infinite value
Thank you very
loop.
much. Yeah, dude, many infinite value loops can be obtained with playing a hunter. It's when you kite people around with the aspect of the cheetah, you keep that concussive shot up. Hunters are awesome. I mean, I don't need to say anything about solo leveling as a hunter. We're probably going to see a hunter be world
Yeah,
first.
it's pretty self-explanatory.
Very good.
It's the one class I would play
Yeah.
if I didn't play Paladin.
Group
I
level-
need to be honest. I'm still thinking of playing a hunter sometimes. I will go with Paladin most likely, but I'm
Well-
still thinking of a hunter. It sounds
yeah.
really fun.
Let me ask you something, Kargoz.
Yo,
Are hunters so good at solo leveling that they might as well group level?
they might as well what?
That they might as well not group level. They might as well stick with solo leveling.
Yeah, probably, man, to be honest. But
Yeah.
but with an exception, though. 1 to 10, it is still pretty quick as a solo hunter because you
Yeah.
can constantly move and get free damage, right? You get free damage from your auto shot. But for 1 to 10, if I was trying to really pump as a hunter, I would duo level with another hunter. And just ping pong stuff and just be super mobile and just be owning stuff because you can accelerate your 1 to 10 in a group for sure until you get the pet. It almost feels like an embarrassment of riches, though, when you're past 10 as a hunter with someone else. You can totally do it by all means, but I'm thinking of some of the god tier speedrunning hunters. Ampi, I was watching Ampi's stream yesterday. Absolute beast. He got 40 and 35 hours on the beta. I've been watching him a lot.
Wow.
He's
really good.
going solo. You can just move. You just have everything as far as what you need. You can constantly move. You have kind of this free high damage with your auto shots. Hunters are amazing at leveling, so we can move on from that because everybody knows that. Dungeons and raids. Hunters, a good hunter in a dungeon is definitely an asset, especially if the mobs are higher level, because you can connect with your damage a lot better than other classes. That's the nature of physical and the nature of ranged. You do have some CC options in the table. You have stuff like traps that you can use. You just have to have a little bit of finesse about them. The pets aren't going to wipe people, though. On the beta, I don't know if you noticed that, Defcamp, but the pets, they're not, they don't pat around if you leave them up on a cliff. They just despawn.
Split these $1 with
Have you
Codeblue.
noticed that?
serious?
I've been on the
Yeah.
net playing Druid
What about
and
even like the
You guys made up my
MC,
mind.
like the first
Great podcaster with
the
you
first
called.
mob skip and MC?
Say that again. Sorry, real quick, Bremis. Thank you so much for the $20, dude. That is a big ass donation. Thank you very much, my man. I appreciate it. What were you saying?
Like,
Defcamp?
I don't know. I've been in so many scenarios where hunters have just fucked shit up. Either they attack something they're not supposed to, send their pet off somewhere, or like just like you said, like even I was asking though, even in the first skip in MC, will they just despawn there even?
Okay, so what I've noticed from dungeons, we weren't able to get up to raids obviously on the beta, right? But like just a simple thing, like a Wailing Caverns thing or a Dead Mines or whatever, where you jump down off a ledge, and usually the pet is going to run all the way around and aggro everything and wipe the whole group, right? I've been there as a hunter. All my hunter brothers have been out there. It's happened to everyone. For some reason, they just despawn, and you just get saved that embarrassment. So I don't know. That's one thing about dungeons. They don't have a ton of AoE damage. With that said, they can still kind of do some. They can drop a trap, drop an explosive trap. They can multi-shot a little bit, but it's not like they have, a blizzard, or arcane explosion, or rain of fire. Overall, good utility in dungeons. Your pet can make pretty big impact. In a melee cleave group, Navik was testing that the Furious Howl buff on Wolf actually will buff weapon damage by a flat amount, so it's actually pretty good in a melee cleave. But again, still, my optimal melee cleave would be three warriors, 2 shamans. But if you were gonna not do that and you had some rogues in there, then yeah, maybe throw in a hunter there or something like that. Just something to think about. So overall, though, I have to say, when you get to 60 as a hunter, sometimes you feel like you're not the most desired. It doesn't feel like people are dying to have you in their group. So you kind of have to put in a little extra work to get involved with these groups, starting groups, networking as a hunter, because you're going to have the good life for a couple weeks once you get 60 before everybody else. A lot of times you're going to be farming stuff. You're going to be the big man on campus, and then everybody's going to hit 60, and it's a little bit more even playing field. And you kind of just have to build out some connections with people, because oftentimes they're not going to want to take you in your dungeon group just off bias or whatever. A little bit of hunter bias maybe coming in here. You're also competing for the most competitive prebis with the warriors and rogues, trying to get the devil source set and all that. You have really good gold farming methods. In raids, hunters are competitive in raids, and I don't even want to speak on where they fall in line with regard to other classes, because a really good hunter can perform. I'll just leave it at that. Dueling,
especially in tier one hunters aren't. A lot of people think hunters aren't that great in DPS. Raid 1 and tier 1 hunters do pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
One of the big pluses for me personally is for the hunter is that the tier sets are actually worth something, like you said. I feel like it's like one of the nicest things you can have at the end game is that the best looking gear is actually the best gear, and I feel like the hunter is probably the only class in the game who has that going for him.
Yeah, I mean, hunters look so cool. One's in the chat if you think hunters look so cool. You see a hunter, orc hunter, savage looking orc hunter, full tier 1 giant stalker on, chilling on his black war raptor, and right next to him is a black wolf or some sort of like even if it's a wind serpent or the thunder lizards or whatever. They look so cool, man. Orc hunters are just badass. They just look so cool, and you get to wear your full tier sets as Dunedain said. And the set bonuses on hunter, super high impact as well. And if you're authorized a Hunter's Mark debuff slot, and your Hunter Core is wearing the proper tier sets so they can all boost each other's damage, man, Hunters are competitive. And very high skill cap with Hunters, though, comparatively, I would say. I don't want to...
Probably the highest, right?
Yeah, it's hard to say, but there's just a lot of moving pieces with the Hunter, and there's a whole lot of room to optimize your own play as a Hunter, getting the right resistances on your pet, making sure you have the right ammo, making sure your pet is good to go, right focus stumps, keeping him well positioned, knowing when to use your pet, when not to use your pet, again, knowing what version of your rotation you should use, full or clipped. A lot of things, just things to keep in mind. Definitely high skill cap class. And here's one thing. You guys have heard this before, right? Hunters fall off. People say hunters fall off. Hunters fall off. Hunters fall off. Later you go in vanilla, hunters fall off. I'm not just gonna refute that. I almost don't want to touch it, but people say that, right? What I will say is, if that's a concern for you, just hear this. Like, a lot of people PvE to PvP, and hunters are not gonna fall off on PvP. Hunters are amazing in PvP. Dueling, battlegrounds, whatever it might be. If PvP floats your boat, and you're more of a PvPer, Hunter is a very good consideration, and
they look to be incredibly fun to me in PvP.
Absolutely.
I never played one in PvP.
2 words: Viper Sting, dude. Viper Sting, the bane of...
2 words: F you.
I know. Viper Sting.
Yeah.
Tab Viper.
And if you're worried about them dropping off in raids, they got that Trank Shot flavor.
Yeah.
Trank
Shot.
There's all types of weird big plays you can make as a hunter too,
and
man.
kiting. Kiting as well is huge in raids. Yeah,
You can make big plays. If your group's in a bad spot, you can just like think for yourself and be like, you know what would be good right now if I just kited this mob away, and you just do it. Like you can have that just is a thing in vanilla. You can make big plays like that. Like, oh man, this mob is a big problem. Distracting shot and just start running away with cheetah, feign death, trinket swapping because you can feign into a trinket swaps as well. So that's one of the cool things. Like rogues, you can vanish and change your trinkets. Hunter, you can feign and change your trinkets. Little cool things about that, like just a really fun class to play in vanilla. And I feel like hunters are kind of in a bad spot. People are, I mean, in terms of how the culture is perceiving them right now, people have been doomsaying hunters, thinking that hunters are not going to be viable, thinking that hunters are trash. Here's the thing too.
Really?
People are saying that scattershot sharing a DR with feign death is the hugest deal in the world. It definitely is something to consider, right? But think about vanilla, how many ways you have to control people. It's not just going to be your scattershot into freezing trap. Yeah, that's a big thing that you do, but you can intimidate into freezing trap. You have magic dust, you have rocket helm, you have grenades, you have, you know, like I said, intimidation, you have the murloc net. Think of all the tools you have out there, the trinkets and items you have to control people. Like it's not the end of the world, man. Like you have plenty of ways to control people. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I think hunters are well positioned for classic, and that if anyone is enthralled by the hunter class fantasy and class ethos and loves the feel of being a pet class, go for it, man. Don't let any of the haters dissuade you from it.
And during the leveling process, I mean, we all got to admit, we've probably all been killed by hunters while leveling. I feel like during the leveling process, they're probably one of the best in world PvP, especially, night elf hunters just being able to come out of nowhere, put their pet on you while you're attacking them. They always attack you when you're attacking a mob, but they have no honor. What do you expect? But I will say this though. One downside to hunters is the dead zone. You have to know how to stay away from someone to keep them. Like mages will definitely try to blink in you and frost trap you and take advantage of that dead zone. So you got to know how to play it safe and not get into situations like that. But you definitely have the element of surprise can be very helpful, and being able to aspect of the cheetah and kite, or use your pet to slow people down and intimidate. You definitely can get the jump on a lot of classes.
Yeah, and if you want to be the true sniper of Azeroth, play a Tauren Hunter, man. They get the extra range on it. So cool. Like running away from a Tauren Hunter, man. Oh man, it would just be so rough being able to do that, running away from a Tauren Hunter. I don't know. Anyway, hunters are awesome. Battlegrounds, high impact, and AV being able to frost trap freaking 40 people and Viper Sting 40 people, and just being played. It's so much fun, man. Hunters is a lot of fun. I think that's it. I think we covered everything. They're good at dueling.
Yeah, about the pets, I feel like the pets are both a plus and a how do you say it, a minus? Yeah. So I like the pets in a way that they add a lot of flavor to the class. You can kind of collect some different pets for different circumstances, but I also dislike the pets because you're so reliable on them. How do you feel about them, Kargoz?
The pets are really cool. It adds a whole nother aspect of the game. People are saying Tauren Hunter is scuffed. Yeah, you can attack from further away as a Tauren Hunter, but you can also be attacked from further away as a Hunter. So there's pros and cons to it. But I just like, conceptually, there's a reason to play Tauren Hunter, And also War Stomp, I'm actually finding pretty useful on a Hunter. I'm finding good uses for it, dude. I never played Tauren Hunter before, but on the beta, I've been trying it out, and I really feel the range difference. I'll tell you, it feels like you're shooting someone from freaking Timbuktu. Like, you're so far away, and you're shooting them as a Tauren Hunter. It's freaking crazy, man. So yeah, the pets I think adds a really cool diversity to the game. You have a bunch of different options there. Pets are normalized 2 or 3 times over in a vanilla environment. You have the 1.0 attack speed pets like Broken Tooth and Frenzy, and the Bat from ZG that's going to give you good pushback. You have carrion birds, which I prefer for leveling. You have the lizards, which do spell damage. No cooldown on their focus thump. The lightning breath does spell damage instead of physical damage. Ranged. How cool is that? Their focus thump is ranged and spell damage. The pets are cool, man, and you feel like it's a party. A hunter without his pet, man, you're kind of in a bad spot.
That's a lot of flavor, definitely.
Yeah, thank God no OP Lupos though, man. Thank God.
No OP Lupos. Another thing I want to say is that amazing self-sufficient class. You can handle yourself in 1v1. You can farm gold by yourself. You can just play solo if you want. I know Classic's a group game, but if you like just depending on yourself to get the job done, Hunter's a great class. You can farm Mardon. You can farm Dire Maul Tribute, Dire Maul. There's a bunch of different farms you can do as a hunter, and you get really geared. You can start soloing some of the higher level dungeons as well. Hunter is just self-reliant class for sure. All right, I think that's it for Hunter. Let's move on. All right, chat. We need to go Berserker mode again. Which one do you want to see next, guys? I was ranting about Hunters.
S Priest.
All right, Codeblue. As the chat proceeds to go crazy and degenerate, Codeblue, close your eyes, open them. First name you see, and the class next to it. We'll do that.
All right. I saw Locke first.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Is it lock time? Oh man, I just talked so much on Hunter. Let's do it. I just talked so much. I feel like I shouldn't talk for a little bit.
You want to pick something else?
Yeah, pick something else. Pick something else.
All right, I'll do it again.
All right.
See what happens.
Oh, look at the chat. I love the
Mage.
chat, Mage. Okay, sweet. Mage. All right. Any guys' initial thoughts? Leveling, dungeons, raids, anything come to mind?
Yeah.
Oh my
Mage
god.
is, yeah. If someone asks what class should I play, I mean, well,
I always say Mage
Warcraft,
too.
Just say Mage.
That's what I say.
Mage
It's the same bet. Yeah.
Mage it doesn't have downsides. It's good in any all of the things you've listed. A Mage is good in those. You need
It's true. Yeah, it's very true.
I mean, yeah. You need a mage in every dungeon, basically. You need a mage in every raid. Dueling is good. PvP, world PvP seems so much fun. As
Every
a mage.
pre-mage, you need a mage.
Battlefront too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And for leveling, mages are awesome. I mean, and they're super convenient. If you say the word mage, convenient is like the next word that comes to my mind. They can do basically everything by themselves.
Ports, food, water. I mean,
Portals too.
yeah.
Slowing things. Polymorph, super.
AoE farming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So mage is basically the all-in class.
I think when it comes to leveling, I've leveled mages before, and I will say it does get a little competitive. But I will say this: you can handle anything as a mage. Especially being able to slow things, be able to kite them around. A lot of the elites that you have to fight in the world, I think, who's the big Misriel, when you have to fight her, like you can solo her all in the Arathi, and I think we soloed Fuzzruck too. As a mage, you can really solo a lot of content that would be group content, like other classes. But the fact that you can do that, you can also AoE farm, you can also handle anything that comes down your way. Polymorph is probably one of the best. You get into a 2v2 scenario, right, where it's you and a buddy and you and two other guys. You're a mage and you have a warrior with you, and there's a priest and a warlock. You automatically polymorph one of them. No one has trinkets yet. Anything like that. You're automatically stuck in that polymorph. There's nothing you can do to get out of it. No one has Skull of Impending Doom or anything like that yet. You are stuck in that polymorph. There's nothing you can do. You automatically turn that 2 verse 2 into a 2v1. It's just so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Well said. I will say that Mage. Here's something that's interesting, guys. Yeah, I know the stream is having a little bit low FPS, guys. It'll resolve. I really don't know why I'm not getting any errors. I'm just a scuff streamer, just part of the brand. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about mages, though. It's kind of a weird thing, and you guys, obviously feel free to disagree. Like if you disagree, let me hear it, but let me have it, But I think mages are the most self-reliant class. How weird is that?
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Yeah,
Mage is the most self-reliant class. A squishy caster class that shoots frost bolts and freezes stuff. The most self-reliant class. It's not even a pet class. Not even a pet class. But they can do everything solo, and they can handle themselves. They can just always polymorph and run away pretty much. They can, in PvP, they can AoE grind and get massive XP per hour, or grind and get massive gold per hour. They're just good across every axis of the game, and they're super self-reliant, even though you wouldn't think so upon first class. You would think that the trade-off of being a squishy glass cannon with high damage would be, group dependency or something like that. But they're a very independent, self-reliant class, more so even than Warlock and Hunter, because they have access to higher gold per hour, gold farming methods, like better gold farming methods, farming ZG Crocs, only class that can do that, stuff like that. What do you guys think about that?
I was watching the stream and see if the sound is okay, but the sound seems to be good. It's just the screen.
Video, I think. Yeah.
But I want to say, Defcamp, go first. I forgot my line of thought.
No, I just when talking about farming and the potential you have of farming, I think mages are known to be some of the best money makers. You can solo a lot of Dire Maul, first boss in Dire Maul. There's just so many things you can do in terms of making money. A lot of people will make a hunter or a mage as their first tune, just for the fact of how much money they can make on those characters. There's something about mages that I think anyone would find interesting and anyone would like. However, I would say the downside of mages, right? There are going to be a lot of mages. You might find it a little bit harder to get gear in raids. There will be a ton of other mages. And honestly, I think that's the only downside, is having to worry about other mages out there. The only other downside I can think of is the fact that you're going to be bothered a lot to make water, which can get annoying for some people. I know a lot of people will go to raid and make water beforehand, and a lot of people just don't like that. But listen, you're a mage and you have a lot of those things where you can help people, and that's I think they're very unique in that they're not a support class, they're a pure DPS class, but they have a lot of supportive things about them, like the food, the water. They can also remove curses, which is awesome. Another DPS class that can remove curses, like just so cool that they can do that as well. So there will be some instances and some fights where they won't just be DPSing, but they'll be able to offer something else, which is, I think, awesome. Like what other DPS class other than, there are some DPS classes who have to worry about, CC and this, that, and other, and of course mages are one of them, but also to be able to offer something else that isn't just DPS. I think that's really cool.
I remembered what I wanted to say. I was talking with some guild members about mages, and we thought that mages are probably the class that changed the least from vanilla to BFA.
Really?
If you think about it, yeah, it's in BFA. It still has most of the spells it had in vanilla, like polymorph, like frostball, fireball, all those things. So we came to think that mage is probably the class that was in the best. It was probably the best designed class in vanilla, as in it had everything already going for it, and it didn't need much. So it had everything already, and therefore it didn't change as much as the other classes. What do you think about that?
I think now that I think about it, I think the only spec that probably has changed the most would be Arcane. Arcane definitely changed a lot. But yeah, Frost, Fire is pretty much essential to what they've been. I agree now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Some interesting tidbit.
Polymorph is just so good, dude. You can use that shit in raids. Like you can, best AoE access in the game. Food and water, obviously, as you said. Another thing about mages in PvP, so much utility. Your globals are so high impact. You can lock people down with novas.
What the fuck are you doing, Defcamp?
When in doubt, mage it out. I recommend mage to everybody. I still to this day have never met a mage who's regretted their time in vanilla, playing classic as a mage. Oh, real quick, Arajko, 500 biddies. Thank you so much for the 500 biddies, my man. For the biddies, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, dude. Thank you. It's a very nice comment you have. Yeah. So dueling again, really good duelers as well. Depending on what spec you are, go Pompyro, Frost. Let's see. World PvP again, same thing. When in doubt, polymorph, run away, reset. Mages can reset really well. I will say, if you're not into AoEing stuff, that might be a concern about playing mages. Mages, like AoE is a big part of what they do. And if you're not a huge fan of AoEing stuff and you like more single target, even single target, they're good though. They're still good though. They're still good. Yeah, just a couple bolts and a fire blast and it's dead. Like I don't know, man. It's
I think a mage just froze us on screen.
Yeah. Okay, either way, guys, we have been streaming for over 2 hours.
Oh, we didn't get the priest. God damn it.
Oh, man, no priest. We're going to continue. Did you guys like this? Is this fun for you guys? One's in the chat if you enjoyed this, because we're going to keep this going. I think this stream is a little bit too scuffed for today to keep going, since we're IRL slideshows. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not getting any error messages, but I just suck at streaming, I guess. But anyway,
so we're going to finish this next GMA. We'll do that.
I think we have time for one more GMA next week. What do you guys think? You think one more GMA to the 22nd? That's before Classic, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, I would love to have one more next week. We discuss after it, but it should be possible. Yeah.
One final GMA next week before we go into Classic. Then we'll probably have to go into hibernation mode for a little bit as we attempt to go kill Rag in 1 week and do all that good stuff. But it has been a great joy and pleasure to chill out with you guys today. Codeblue, absolute big brain. Dropping knowledge on the people today. Fresh, hot knowledge. Thank you so much for your
Thanks
time
for
today.
coming
You're
out,
not-
brother.
Indeed, thank
You're
you.
not the only one that has to hit 60 in the first week, because apparently I have to take a priest over to Orgrimmar and mind control some people.
Oh, man.
That's right.
If you guys are looking for a guild, we're still recruiting. I don't know if Codeblue's recruiting. We can plug our stuff in here in the channel.
Yeah.
Our guild is still recruiting. We still have
Same.
some spots available in Invictus. We have 3 raids. I think raid 3 is still has spots available. Just plugging in here before we sign out. Do some housekeeping. Dunedain, do you have any way for people to contact you? Discord or guild application?
Yeah, first of all, some people ask if they can see the stream again. I think you'll probably put it on your channel, Kargoz, but I have all GMAs on my channel.
Yep.
Be there tomorrow, probably. I will link it in the chat right now. And if you want to join a guild on the EU side, an alliance PvP, an alliance guild and a PvP server rather, and not very hardcore, but still serious, you're welcome to the Fellowship. Discord is thefellowship.eu, so that's easy. Yeah, I hope to see you there. So it'll be nice to meet all of you.
Absolutely. And if you guys are still trying to... Oh, sorry, go. My bad, go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'll do the same thing. If you're on Alliance Herod and you want to raid semi-hardcore and PvP with me, you can do that by joining this Discord.
He's on Alliance Herod. He's on the other side, guys. So you know. He's going to be across...
If you want to kill Kargoz, join my
man.
team.
For a Gnome Rogue, you join his ranks. Yeah, he's going to be on the other side. We will be killing him in Stranglethorn Vale. So, yeah, keep that in mind, dude. That's crazy.
By the way, you guys are also welcome in my guild.
Oh,
anytime.
thank you.
So, yeah, if you decide to play in the EU servers someday, please join us.
I guarantee you, I will be there, Dunedain. I will.
That's awesome.
I am going to create a EU account, and yeah, going to be playing there. But yeah, I'm going to be streaming a little bit later today. If you guys want to come join me on the beta as well, so
Also,
if you guys want to come over,
if you guys could do us a huge solid, like do us one favor if you enjoy this content. One favor. Please go to this link, classicwide.live/leveling. It's a full leveling guide, customizable for your class. We built it over the last months and months. Been testing it, doing all this, and it really will help you guys if you're trying to find a leveling plan for Classic. It'll take you the whole way to 60, regardless if you're solo, duo, or trio leveling. It would really mean a lot to us because we're trying to improve it before Classic. It's in the chat right now, classicwide.live/leveling. Really good tool, man. You guys are gonna really like it a lot, I hope. And
if you guys haven't been on Classic Live recently, there's been updates and changes to it. You should check it out. It looks beautiful.
Absolutely.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, guys, for this one. Good Morning Azeroth 26. We're signing out, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
Thank you
been
so
an
much.
honor, like always.
Keep on keyboarding and grinding. All right.
Bye.
Peace out, guys. Peace out. See you next time. Next week.